Okay, Arsenal fan circle here. It is Thursday night forum. I got Gary and Tony here are visible, and I've got the avatar formerly known as Stan the Man.
He's
Hello, hello.
representing the brand tonight.
Stan is pushing the brand tonight. Now, what's going on, Stan? This will be
Fucking
entertaining.
technical hitch, man. I just like I'm doing it on my phone because my laptop's fucking doesn't want to cooperate, and my missus is away, so she can't help me. I'm on my own in the house, right, and I'm suffering.
You shouldn't be suffering
Well,
on a
maybe you
week.
can hear me.
You shouldn't be suffering on a week like this on the back of a scintillating victory over the
Just
old
send her
enemy,
a text to tell you your password.
North London Derby. You know, where two of the kids turned.
No, that's good. The football, yeah, that's all good. But my missus is away, so I'm literally living on ravioli and toast for 2 weeks.
Why did she do that to you?
He's a grown-ass man. He should be able to cook for himself, or at least work a
She
microwave.
left
Yeah,
him
ravioli.
stranded.
I cook ravioli and toast.
The can opener. He
She
can
left
use
him
a
stranded.
toaster.
No,
Gary,
she
he
left
can
him
use a
stranded.
toaster and a can opener, so he's good.
You
And a
heard him.
microwave.
Yeah, you
And
go.
a microwave. He's good to go. He's good to go. Listen, we are all good to go today. Are we cleared for takeoff, Gary?
I think so. Yes. Yes.
All the late traffic's
Let's go.
cleared. We're good.
Let's go, everyone. Let's do this.
Tony, put the wheels up there and we'll take off. Okay, welcome and good evening, everyone in the chat room. As you join the circle, yeah, and Stan warned us he may pop out, he may pop in, so we'll see what happens. If it wasn't working for him, then that's the only thing that's going bad for Arsenal so far. As you join the circle, check in at gate 4. I couldn't think of a number, so if you've got another number, Gary or Tony,
49, right? 49.
49, unbeaten.
You said gate 49.
Gate 49. I like that one. Tony, you got a number?
Number for what?
For the gate.
Are you not listening?
What's
going on here? Aren't you part of this show?
Gate number 7.
Gate number 7.
Gate number 7, because Saka turned up. Stan, what gate would you pick? What number would you pick, Stan?
Hello. For what?
Oh, we're just nominating gate number. I'm going
Number
for
for what?
Number 4. Just the gate number. We're pushing this airline thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you have to turn up at the gate, check in, hit the like button, and you can board the flight.
Number 11 then.
Number 11 it is.
What's the significance of 11? It's going to be one of those shows. All right, hit the like button as we board flight to Brighton. Okay, listen. Weather check. It's going to be a regular feature here now on Thursday nights. Weather check reveals 16 degrees Celsius, wind and rain during the game on Saturday. So, Gary, I'll pull up another banner here that's going to...
Ray, are you trying to make weather excuse for us to drop points? Is that what it is?
Well, you know what? When people talk about
when
a cold
the grass
night,
is too dry,
it's going to be a cold night in Stoke. Well, let's say it's going to be a cold night in Brighton. Forecast wind and rain, Gary.
Turned on or not before the game?
I'll go to Tony. Is that okay, Gary?
Sounds like it. Sounds like he's got his own agenda.
So go ahead, Tony. Traditionally, the 12:30 here in the States or 5:30 has been a difficult time slot for Arsenal. Traditionally.
Yeah, we struggle at that time. I don't know why we do. And I was asking you if you're to go check on the sprinklers, see if they're working before the game. Grass isn't too dry.
Yeah, so listen, Tony, the real trick is we got a very, very big confidence building win against Tottenham. We're definitely going to look back on that one. But with a mind on that, Tony, we need to add some consistency now. So Brighton is going to, we're just going to briefly touch on this. Brighton is going to give us a different challenge on Saturday.
It shouldn't be a challenge. They started off good, but I don't think they're that good of a team. We should be able to easily get the points. And hopefully we keep building the momentum. But what sucks is right after a game, international break number 2.
Yeah. I know Stan has been watching very carefully the international break. Stan, are you with us? He's in baggage control back there.
We're dangling your name from the bottom of the plane.
Yeah, he's on mute. So I'll go to Gary. Gary, briefly we'll talk about Brighton and then we'll go back to the Tottenham game before we come back to Brighton again. So uh, it's going to be Saturday. It's going to be the later kickoff, and traditionally we haven't had the best of results there. But do you sense a kind of different resolve in this team now?
Well, I not yet. I don't think we can say that after one match, because there's definitely all the excuses everybody's giving as to why we looked the way we did on Sunday or Saturday, was it? So Tottenham isn't really that good. Kane is terrible. Everything, Nuno doesn't know what he's doing. All of that stuff. So, but you know what? We took advantage of it like we're supposed to when a team is playing poorly. We have to do it again if Brighton comes in and plays like they did against, was it Crystal Palace last match? I think it's who they played, right?
Yeah.
If they come in and play like that, we should be able to manage the game the way we want to, take control and get the points, all the points. So
Gary, since you've seen both Brighton, did you see the full game, Brighton versus Palace?
I just saw the ending because the reason why I kind of was looking at the ending is because I think if they would have won, right, they would have been top of the table.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I think part of me is like, was that too much pressure for them, right? If they could finish the weekend at the top of the table, is that kind of where they came out a little flat, or is Crystal Palace really that much improved? And if that's the case, then we are very much improved, and it could be a tough game for them. It should be a tough game for them anyways, but we're trending upwards. They had a scare, so they're going to come out maybe a little bit more infused in the next match. But we should be feeling really confident about the way we played, and the one replacement we have to make, will give us a different dynamic, maybe a better one than the last match. So we should be good to go when we play. So I'm looking forward to seeing who replaces who in the next match.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's just a one replacement and not multiple. My concern is, like you said, it is an international break. Are we going to see multiple changes for no good reason other than to rest them up for the international break?
I was thinking about that today, Gary, actually, and this is something we wanted Mcl Arteta to do, is to have a consistent lineup now. And I think for the most part, for these last 3 league games, he has been very consistent in his lineup, and so much so he's probably gone a little bit too far. We had some players going down with cramp in the Derby game.
Well, that game should be like, that's how those players should be coming off the pitch, right? Like just they've put in the extra effort, right?
Yeah.
So so at the end of a match like that, you expect certain players, like not all of them, but you expect certain players to have exerted themselves, and the ones that did, the ones that had a lot of success in that day, the Sackers and the Milsworth Rowe, who really had a good game, probably did do a little bit extra than they usually would have done. They probably needed to come out, especially when they were going down with little bumps and getting knocked down and stuff like that. At that point, it's probably time to bring them off, right? And we don't sub to the 80th minute. I don't get that. This is a big match. You got a 3-goal lead for 20 minutes in that second half. We weren't going. It didn't look like we were going to score. You got to switch things up a little bit. Either go defensively or try to get that 4th goal and put it away like we were going to score. We didn't do it. Yeah, it's up a little bit. Either go defensively, or is that me, or is that Tony? What is Tony doing?
I'm not doing nothing.
That is you. I saw you look. He had his audio going. I could hear it in my ears. Bad, Tony. But no, I think we should have. I think we need to be able. These guys cannot play 90 minutes every game. So, and this was a
squad a little bit more.
This was a big match, right? This is a really big match for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's get through a few comments. We'll go down to Tony and Stan then. Hey, Ray, how you spell New York, Ray? A knife and a fork a bottle and a cork. That is how we spell New York. It's good to see Steve here. He's having some problems with his YouTube notifications, and YouTube keeps on confounding its own platform. It's it's so big it doesn't have to care about that, Tony. Backed by public demand, sound of Ray, and he's here to command. Backed by public mission, Ray's taking Arsenal fan circle on a mission. I didn't know he was such a poet. Turn it on, tune it in. This is the place.
There we go.
All right.
Next is all right, you limerick.
This is when no.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. No excuses. We should be Brighton, Tony. Steve Denham Stan is doing it to them off camera in the Spider-Man mask. They do a lot of filming in Vancouver. We just don't know what kind. Really good to see you here, Riddy. That's a very strange thing to say, Steve. Hey, this is what we're all about. This is what we're all about.
I don't. This is not what it's all about, Ray. This is not. Sorry, no.
Gary's saying we need to come in for emergency landing.
I know exactly. There's something wrong in the cockpit right now. The captain is that smoke in the cockpit? What is going on here?
Yeah. James,
what type of smoke, Gary?
Listen. If I was an Arsenal fan, I was going to another rival, hanging out, in another rival's YouTube channel. I'd feel a little bit reticent or a little bit sheepish about coming back in. But you're welcome here, James, of course. Really good that you're coming back and saying hi. We're not going to pour it on too thick. We're just going to chat about it. Hello, lads. Hope you're all well. I just say Spurs under 17s beat Arsenal 9-0. So that makes me feel a bit better. Plane's been hijacked since then.
It's like something's just not right. Whatever they're doing at the controls is just not in the
what
best.
What did Steve do? Steve failed our pre-flight check.
Yeah, Steve, you're supposed to be screening the passengers.
I think the
security check, Steve.
The metal detectors and everything is off right now. Anything and everyone's getting through.
Fly at your own risk, airlines.
I could see Steve being the security guy, totally. Checking through all those bags. Tony, as Gary said, we possibly left too many players on the pitch, all for a long amount of time in the Derby. And we wanted to maybe dial it back a little bit. So you're finding a happy balance between keeping the game steady at a 3-1 or 3-0 advantage and not completely losing the whole rhythm of the team by doing too many substitutions. So I guess Mcl Arteta was stuck in between a rock and a hard place there, Tony.
He still should have made substitutions earlier before he did. Should have started 60th minute. Like I said, you should always be looking around then, see who's tired, see who needs to come off. Not wait until the 80th minute to make your changes.
I think, Tony, we can have a little bit more confidence in the players who are coming in. They seem to be the same players, but with the same energetic group of players. The left back for Tierney, we're saving Tierney. We're out to possibly go through the whole season without 90 minutes in his pocket every week. Tavares coming on, going into midfield, Lokonga coming in, and Ainsley Maitland-Niles coming in.
And really nobody up front to come in and make a difference unless Smith Rowe starts on the bench.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know that because we haven't seen Martinelli or Lacazette, so I don't think that's necessarily true. If you say if you have them sitting out on the bench, eventually when they do come on, then they're gonna look in form. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd figure the one that's been getting goals in preseason and during closed door matches, you'd give him a go, but hasn't had any minutes at all.
So Gary, it does seem that we're wedded now to Aubameyang and making that work. Lacazette's minutes have been vastly reduced this season compared to the start of last season. So we are consistently, even against me, I want to see Pepe on the field a little bit more. But we've got Odegaard, Emil Smith-Rowe, Saka, and Aubameyang. They seem to be the front four now. Our first choice, Gary.
Yeah, that's what he wants to go with. And, it did work out. And the reason why, to me, it worked out, I think, is he had an engaged and an attentive Aubameyang. I mean, he was basically all over the field, right, for the whole.
Where's he been the last year and a half?
Yeah, that's well, you know what, we see it, but we need to see it for the whole time.
Does Thierry Henry have to go to every game now, Gary? That's the question we want to ask ourselves.
Well, we'll find out, right? Because he's not quite going to Brighton, so we'll find out if we're going to get the same Aubameyang or just the one that supposedly only didn't play so well last season because he didn't have fans, right? Now he's got fans, so there's no excuses because that was the only thing missing from last season, right? That's what he told us. So why not?
You mean to tell me that Thierry Henry is not bringing Daniel Ek to the seaside of Brighton?
No, I heard it's just all rocks. So
get an ice cream, get a rock going home, and have a game in between.
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody's going for that. Nobody's going for that. Yeah, we'll be. At some point, you're gonna have to just find it within yourself to play a good game of football without being asked to do it or expecting somebody in the stands to be looking at you. So he needs to figure out how to do that. You know what? At some point, he's going to have to sit anyways, right? They're going to want to rest him anyways, right? So, and we're going to have to make sure that our bench can play because we're going to need them at some point in the season. So, we'll see. That is what I want to see from Aubameyang going forward. If that can't be done, then that's when he has to come out in the match, all right? Because when he doesn't do that stuff, it looks really poor.
Gary, do this. Come on.
What's that?
Do this.
Yeah, that's because whenever there's some kind of a noise, you have to do the Pepe. That's the rule.
What are you guys talking about? When did this rule happen?
It was last year. It was last year, but we let it lapse. It's okay. So Steve Dedham said Emil Smith-Rowe was knackered. Everyone could see he needed to come off not long after the second half started. Arteta needs to make these decisions quicker, Gary. And really wants to know, can we play Spurs every week, please?
Please, because that might be the only way we're going to get something out of it. And that's what I think, we've heard a lot of. It's not necessarily that it's injuries or it's this or that. It's sometimes whether the bigger, the games that are big for us, right? So when we play West Ham, I expect us to come out and play. When we play Aston Villa, we're going to come out and play. Probably United, we're going to come out and play. The Liverpools, the Cities, and the Chelseas, I assume the team probably thinks it's a lost cause, so they don't come out and play. The trick is you never know when you get a win, so you've got to play every game.
Yep.
So we'll see. This Brighton game will be. This is why I guess when we were talking in the back room, I was like, I think a lot of fans are torn because they enjoy 3-game winning streak, but they still don't know about Arteta, right? Everybody's like, well, are you Arteta out still? And it's like, yes. And they're like, why? He's won 3 in a row. And we don't know yet. We just won 3 in a row, yes, but we don't know if this is the future of Arsenal or Arteta, or if this is just a blip, right? Because consistently he's shown us something totally different.
Tony said Stan's misses sending a tactical unit to fix his laptop, so Stan's having some technical issues. Landed on his rooftop by a parachute, a handful of Ethernet cables. Last Sunday will be forgotten if we don't win on Saturday. Exactly right, Reddy. And this is the thing that we need to add. Tony, the Premiership always gives you challenges, and you can't really take any week off in the Premiership. More than most leagues, there can be upsets that would come even to the biggest teams. We've seen it already this season. Tottenham beat City, didn't they?
Yeah, we're the strongest league, top to bottom. You never know who's going to come out and get a surprise victory.
That's the beauty of the league, and that's the challenge that's going to be presented to us now. We were up for this game. It was quite easy. It's a Derby game. It should be easy. I'm going to say it was quite easy. It should be easy. Arteta was passionate. That's the kind of passion we want to see on the sidelines from our manager. He shouldn't be afraid to act like that every game, and it shouldn't just be a North London Derby that brings that out of him, Tony. The team were up for it. The young players were talking about it over breakfast and excited about scoring a goal in the Derby as well. So this is the North London Derby last week is going to get you up every day. It should get you up every day to play. But the bigger test now is Saturday, 16 degrees Celsius, and if it turns out to be rain and wind on a cold night, I'm still saying this, Tony.
Ray's trying to come up with excuses for his dropping points.
It's not an excuse.
The grass was too dry. It's too cold.
Nope.
Too rainy.
No, Tony. The excuses come after if you don't get the result. I'm talking.
You're doing all the prep work right now, though. This is the flight check. Let me see how many excuses I can set up just in case I need to use them.
I'm laying the groundwork, huh? No. Come on, you know me.
Exactly. Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. We know you.
We know those rainbows. And
Tony, as Han Solo would say, "Hey, it's me."
Exactly. We know that.
No, but on a serious note, these are the challenges, Gary, that the team should be looking at. All of this week, Arteta should be saying it's easy. It should be easy to get up for a Derby. Hey, Rich, thanks for doing that.
He can write that. But does that mean that United is falling down? But nobody's going to say that after they had some ups and downs in the last couple of games.
They turned it around last night
in the last minute. So that means it's all turned around in 1 minute. That's it.
Hey, listen, those kind of wins can propel you forward as well as any other wins.
Yeah. Let's see how honest Gary's will be on this next question.
Oh, I see it.
Gary, what are your thoughts on the injury?
I don't want him to be injured. I want him to sit. that's all I want. And this is he's gonna have to sit now. But this is not what I don't want any injuries for other players. And everybody knows I think he's a squad player for Arsenal. If Arsenal's fighting for titles, he's not leading them. He's not on the pitch. He doesn't complement Partey enough to get us where we want to go, anyways, right? So, the injury should be hopefully it's a warning from the football gods, maybe, if that's what you want to say. So you know what? Maybe you don't need him. Yeah, he doesn't like my answer, but I don't want somebody to get injured. No, because you know what happens. You know what happens if you ask for that, it's going to happen again to somebody else, and you're not going to like it.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, Rich, we're going to answer your question as well, but really, we're going to stay on yours for a second. Tony, what are your thoughts on? I know it was only asked to Gary, but I'm going to extend it to you as well, Tony. What's your thoughts on the Jack injury? I think Gary's right. I'll chime in first if you don't mind before you take 5 minutes.
Ask me the question and spit in your words. Go ahead, Ray.
We always wanted Granit Xhaka to be a squad player. Gary said we know what Granit Xhaka is. We know what he is with Partey. Let's see what he can be with a Sambi or Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Let's see what that combination could be. We can use these 3 months to evaluate if we have a better combination with Partey. So, yeah, listen, you don't want a player to get injured. We always wanted Granit Xhaka to be intended to be a squad player. It's just Mcl Arteta had different ideas for this season. And very unfortunate, the cramp could have signaled Granit Xhaka coming off. Mcl Arteta was his own worst enemy.
It's not the cramp. It's the fact that he had been out for as long as he was. He's not going to come back into a North London derby and be able to play 90 minutes. I just don't believe that.
Well, he was picked. He was maybe not picked for his fitness, Gary. He was picked for his
exactly. So that means he can't give you 90 minutes. You just said it right there. He wasn't picked for his fitness, and he's coming in right off the street, basically, having not played anything. And now he's going to play in a North London derby.
Ray's trying to take up for.
Yeah, I know the intensity. The intensity's there. I got you.
This is a big match.
I hear you.
So you don't come into that match off the street, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
And then he gets injured, and he's probably injured before that, and then he gets knocked out of the game. I mean, it's just
Gary. I'll stay with you a second. Then, do you think the doctor, the medical team, failed Granit Xhaka a little bit because the signal was there? He had cramp. You could have taken the player off at that point in time.
Well, there's multiple reasons why he should have been out of that match before he got injured.
Yeah.
One is he hadn't played. Two, like you said, basically when he starts to fall, when he starts to lose his way, you see lots of fouls occur, right? I think when me and Tony were doing the watch along, I said, you know what? If I don't have to say his name, I think that's a good sign. And for that first,
saying his name a lot for a while.
For that first half, we didn't say his name much. It was almost like he wasn't on the pitch.
That's the Granit Xhaka we wanted. The team, the other 10 players winning and playing well despite that Granit Xhaka.
And that should look really clear to everybody, especially Arteta. That guess what? You had 11 players out there. 10 of them were out there having a really good match. And one of them just, for me, wasn't. He wasn't. He did. I know people say, he started a lot of the passes for the goals that we had
involved. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got a touch on the balls, but as a whole, you look at the full body of work. Like when we weren't scoring, it was like they had an extra body on the pitch and they weren't using him. It was easy to just bypass him, and that's not what you want either, right? You don't want that. I mean, if you have a, that means they don't have to guard him. If you're not even going to use him, right? I mean,
Brady said his stand playing FIFA. No, he had an issue with his laptop, so he's using his phone, and he probably got discouraged by the poor quality. Tony?
As an answer of a question for him, Stan's missus hasn't sent him a password yet, so he can't download the update for FIFA to start playing it yet. So he's just sitting there waiting.
Steven said, no excuses, though. We are not the title chasing Arsenal of old. We still have enough about this team to beat Brighton. Yeah, for sure. We'll dive into Granit. Do we need to talk a little bit more about Granit Xhaka or not? It's 3 months, Gary.
He did come to Tony, thankfully.
No, I
will.
We don't have to talk about. I mean, if we're going to talk about the North London Derby, then we're going to talk about him some more, right? But he's out. He's out for 3 months. So Arsenal needs to figure out what they got if they don't have him. Hopefully Arteta doesn't do something crazy, right? Zombie needs to play at some point. Hopefully he's not a true backup to Partey. Because if he is,
he plays second. He waits in the wings until Partey's injured. Probably not. I think he's going to start.
If we see El Nini, somebody's going to scream this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be really, and that's the thing. It's like it could be El Nini, it could be Maitland-Niles. It could be a lot of decisions, a lot of approaches that get taken.
Yeah.
It should be Zombie and done.
I mean, I'm fine with whatever option is taken. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, I think he's performed very well.
Come on, Zombie deserves it, Ray.
Yeah, I think if Bizima's going to start, we definitely would need to have Zombie in there as well. Steven said, I wouldn't think the Chelsea game is pointless. Chelsea aren't playing good football. They look beatable. And so one other question then, the Rich was here at the same time as Riddy asking the question, thoughts on Granit Xhaka. Wanted to come to you, Gary. Have we righted the ship a little bit? Have we turned it around? The way I want to characterize it is the ship. We got 2 1-0 wins against Norwich and Burnley. Sort of, when you bring a ship up from being sunk, it's floating again. And I already thought the Spurs game, go with me on this one. The Spurs game started up the engine, so now we're ready to go. Do you like that now?
I don't know. I don't think so. No, I mean, like I said, it's one match. We'll take the win.
Trying to reconnect. Sure. Go ahead.
It's one match. We'll take it. If this is what Arteta ball looks like, then we want more of that. All right. If Arteta just got lucky, like what's happened before, and didn't realize this is what he had in his tool chest, in his toolbox, then we're in
But
trouble
Gary,
because better just revert back to what we saw in the Norwich and Burnley game, which is not something any of us like because we have better quality players than what we saw in those two matches.
But Gary, it's not just one match; it's 3 matches. We've won 3 matches after losing 3.
Did they look the same? Supposedly,
No.
we're playing a better
No.
team. We're playing what, the 20th and 19th teams in the table, and you're comparing that to
did the losses versus Brentford and Chelsea look the same as the loss versus City?
They did not look the same.
No, no 2 games look alike.
No. What I mean is, I don't like. I think two things. I think we came out in the Chelsea and the City games basically a team that was expecting to lose.
Yeah.
And I think we got out coached and outworked in the first match of the season because this is their first game in the top flight, because this is their they're playing at home, right? That's all excuse because we're missing our 2 strikers, all of these things.
Yep.
Right? And if you looked at it, we did not come into that game with a plan to play with whatever players we were going to have out there. So no, they're not the same in that sense. I don't look at those first 3 matches and look at the next 3 and say, you know what, I can see that we look totally different all in those games. We looked like we had no clue in the first one. Second 2, we were basically we lost before we even stepped off the bus.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Yeah.
The next 2 were playing the worst teams in the league, and we barely won.
Yep. The gears sometimes move very, very slowly, so you add a little bit of oil.
Sometimes they just break.
I don't know if that's what we got going on here. I think sometimes like Tony said, it could break, and it's because usually it's just to add some oil to it to loosen things up a little bit. But we might be just have metal on metal, and at some point we're just gonna freeze. Just heat up so much that the gears just lock.
So
right?
Neither of you like my boat or ship analogy. Okay, no. I worked very hard.
You haven't even came to me yet, right?
I will go down to Tony.
You're gonna forget what he said, anyways, Tony.
Tony, have at it. What? Give me a different analogy if you don't like mine.
I was gonna go with, before you ever mentioned a ship to me. I see a wooden ship, rum barrels for depth charges, blew up the ship. Now we're just riding the points, taking it nice and easy. We come up against the 2 bottom teams in the league, come up against the sputtering Spurs that seemed to already give up on Nuno, even though they beat City of a first match. Now we're just kind of nailing the boards back together, seeing if anything sticks, and so far it's not.
See, he kind of went along the same lines as me, Gary. You see that?
No, I did not. You confused me. There's a lot of depth charges and all this stuff, and I got lost. I got lost in the depth charges.
You're not a pirate, so you don't understand.
Gary,
you're right about that.
As you well know, Gary, coming up to the first international break, Spurs were first, Arsenal were 20th. Now it's changed around. Arsenal are 10th and Spurs are 11th. And Nuno was
the next international break. We're going to be up top. Is that what you're saying? That's how things are trending. Is that what you're saying?
No, not necessarily so. No, but So
why did you bring it up?
Have we recovered? Do we have a full recovery now?
I think you just answered that question because you said no. Because you said at the next international break we are not going to be top of the league. So I guess no. No,
Do you think Arteta? Do you think Arteta deserves manager of the month for September? Tony doesn't.
I hope this is not his best month as a manager of this season. So
3 wins.
I guess so. I guess it's 4 wins, right? If you count the West Brom game, right?
Yeah.
I think that's in the same.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wimbledon game.
Oh, sorry, Wimbledon game. But yeah, like I said, I saw something good in that game, and I want to see it again. All right, because you can't just tease me and say, you know what, you only get this 1 out of every 4 matches, and So no, We need to see this
Standards,
again.
that was the logo.
Has Arsenal turned it around? I hope so. But we won't know until the next match.
Brand.
Stan, can you hear us?
Yes,
yes,
I can.
All right, nice.
I'll be doing this shit from my Xbox now. I didn't even know I could do that.
Oh wow, you're in the Xbox. Hey, we knew you were playing FIFA.
It does look very 1990s or early 2000s, doesn't it, Tony?
Yes, Stan's on his 56K modem, just chilling.
Yeah, I'm on my ZX Spectrum. I just loaded an audio cassette.
Stan, did you want to chime in on us winning 3 games after losing 3 games, or do you just want to jump into the Derby game?
Whatever, mate. I mean, I don't want to cover old ground, but I would say that these last few games that we've played, we got more out of them than I originally, the bar that I set that I thought would be acceptable. So they're, they're exceeding my expectations at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Give your analogy to Stan, see if he understands it.
Okay. Did you hear my analogy about the boat, about the ship? No.
No. Go on.
After 3 losses, our ship was sunk. Right.
Yeah.
So 2 narrow wins against Norwich and Burnley, 1-0. It's like we were able to raise the boat up, and that Tottenham win ignited the engines. Now we're ready to go.
Yeah. You could have switched in the word Titanic just to use a Titanic in there.
It certainly did look like Titanic at the Etihad against City, when the players were motionless, looking at our fans in the away end. At least we had fans. Analogy. Tony, at least we had fans in the away end. Apparently, Harry Kane was looking at empty stands at the end of the Tottenham game. So, yeah, listen. Let's jump into this topic here, Stan. What did you enjoy most from the Derby?
What I enjoyed most was the way that we moved the ball forward. That it was what we were doing is that players were working the ball out from the back, but people were facing towards the goal when they picked up the ball. I've seen too many times, Aubameyang waiting to collect the ball with his back to goal. And sometimes, even in the midfield, when they've got their back to goal and they receive the ball, instead of turning on the half turn, they'll play it sideways or play it back. But I noticed that the ball was moving forward and players were running into space to receive the ball. And I think that really suited Aubameyang.
Yeah. And we played with pace, Gary.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Stan.
No, I was just agreeing with you. I was just saying, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we played with a lot of pace, Gary, and we were able to. What I wanted the team to look like for Pepe, except he's not in the side right now, but I wanted a fast-moving play through midfield for Pepe, and we're seeing this now with Ødegaard, Partey, Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, and Aubameyang at the tip of it.
Well, you brought Pepe in, so if I'm going to talk about Pepe for just a little bit, who's Pepe taking a spot from based on the way he's been playing? And based on the way that game went, what player would he have replaced? We would have seen a similar performance, if not better.
Nobody. I can't answer that question.
That's the problem right there. All right, what we saw and what we hope to see again. What's Pepe gonna? Where does Pepe fit in with that? He's not aggressive like Saka out there on the wing when he's attacking, coming up the side. Depends whether he's going to take his shot or whether he's going to, make the pass, get in a position to make the pass. And if he's taking over a Smith-Rowe slot, is he? I haven't seen him do this much, but as far as right in the middle of the pitch, get that ball and be able to pass it upfield to anybody who's attacking up the sides. And that's things we hadn't seen from Pepe. He's usually happy to be up top, and the only person up top really was Aubameyang, right? Consistently up there, but everybody else was making runs down the sides and being able to do something with it, which is his Achilles heel, right? So sorry, I went on a tangent there for Pepe, but
that's fine. And that will spark another question when we get through this one.
Okay. Yeah. So as far as the game itself, if you're going to ask me the same question, what I enjoyed about it,
what do you enjoy?
Well, first things first. I liked that back five. I'm going to call it the back five because I wanted to see how they were going to do again, and they didn't. They did not disappoint. They did not disappoint. My computer is telling me it's got no juice, which is weird because I have it plugged in. Just a second here.
That was me on Sunday.
Oh, I have it plugged in, but I don't have it all the way plugged in. So
bad, Gary.
There we go. All right, I think we're good now. All right, sorry about that, people. I had a ding in my ear, but no, I think that that back five is what I was looking forward to seeing because I'm like, all right, at least if we don't have the offense going, which we hadn't in the last, even in the 2 wins, we didn't really have the offense going in terms of finishing or even just putting ourselves in better situations.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I was like, all right, if at the worst case scenario, we're going to have a really good defensive game, which we did. So that's what I was looking forward to seeing. They did not disappoint. And then the fact that the offense clicked as well, I think because the defense, I think, was playing really well because I think we got a lot of play from that back line that made it easy for us to move the ball forward. We weren't worrying about defending as much. Those guys weren't worrying about defending as much, right? So, and then we saw the offense click, which definitely surprised me to see how much we were attacking in that first half. It was really fun to see that goal. It took a little while, but we got there, right? I think it was the 27th minute when we got the first goal, and by the 37th minute.
Second goal around 27th, then quickly after that third. The 12th minute, I think, was
12th minute. Goal. So in like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we basically had scored 3 goals, right?
Yeah.
It was really, that's really good. But like I said, the defense is what coming into the game, that's how I was thinking. I was like, I like to see that back five. Hopefully that's the back five from now until whenever, till the end of the season. Yeah. And then the next trick is to figure out who plays in front of that back line and who's our front four.
Well, we're going to stick a pin in that. We're going to get into that. Steve Denham said, I enjoyed the fast attacking football. When it was going through our midfield, it wasn't being killed past backwards or sideways or slowed it down, so there's nothing on for the forwards. Even that's a good point that Stevens made, Tony. Even Granit Xhaka was progressive in his touches.
Some of the match.
I mean, usually you would see Granit Xhaka pass it backwards. He didn't even. He had a lot of touches in this game. He didn't even do it. But what did you enjoy the most, Tony? I'll let you.
To me, it was a complete performance for 90 minutes. It's the main thing I've been asking for under Arteta. We never really seen it last season. And even after he made the subs came in and played well. There were lots of 7 and 8 performances, which you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
The team seemed ready for a fight from the word go to the word end, which is, to me, is the most enjoyable thing. Yeah, I like the faster paced football. We'll even see more of that. With Xhaka out, he never came to me with my thoughts on Xhaka injury, thankfully.
You can jump in now.
I can.
You can.
Are you asking me?
No, go for it. He sounds like he's asking to give his thoughts, right, Gary?
Yeah.
To me, you never want to wish a player injury, but I'm kind of like, fucking forgot his name on The Simpsons, and always goes ha ha.
The one
Nelson,
thing I
Nelson.
Thought,
yeah, Nelson.
Oh, yeah. The one thing I was thinking about is early in the game when Xhaka, he tried to get a yellow card, came in late on a tackle, landed on the Spurs player, and we're like, this is getting a little, this is not good because he's going to do it again. And then a similar thing happened to him, and he got knocked out of the game. And I was like, is that what's going on there? Why is that happening? So, is that fate or whatever they call it? But yeah, he should have been out. He should have been out of the game early. Is my initial thought on this one.
Yeah, listen, everyone in chats as well. You're part of this as well. So, as Rady said here, give me your favorite part of the game, what you enjoyed most, Steve. Anyone else who's watching right now. the Ramsdale save late on to keep out Mora. And, 3-1, it's looking a little bit ropey if Mora scores there. Gary, your name isn't Tony. Okay, we know that. And, it's a little bit like that Chelsea game on December 26th. We'll always remember it as a 3-1 and a quite comprehensive win. But Chelsea got a goal back late, could have got another one, and we would have been really rocking. And the same thing could have happened. The sheen off of the 3-1 win at the weekend could have dissipated very, very quickly. Anything else on what you enjoyed the most? I'm going to ask Tony. I'll start with you first. And so Granit Xhaka's out. What are you going to do? Who's the next player is coming in for you, and how would you reorganize the team, or would you switch a like for like?
Yeah, to me, it automatically been Sambi as a further comment on Xhaka. Sambi should have kept playing. He hasn't screwed up. Xhaka gets COVID. Then Xhaka gets a red card. Sambi's played great. 3 matches. And then here comes Xhaka. Xhaka's limping around. Should come off. Doesn't come off. Gets hurt. Am I sad? Nope. I'm feeling like Nelson from The Simpsons.
He's incorrigible, Gary. He's incorrigible. Stephen said the two teams, one looked like they believed in what the manager was saying. The other had no faith in their manager and weren't playing for him. You decided who's who. And Nuno looked all lost to sea. Gary, what are you doing with Granit Xhaka? Who's replacing him for you? Are you shifting the team around a little bit?
Well, at that point, I think we were going to – for me, I thought we would go defensive, right, if he's coming out. Because at that point, it's 3-1, right? They had scored just before that, right? And
Ray's talking about going on after injury, not just to –
Well, yeah, it can be for the Brighton game, or it can be for what are you going to do now? Granit Xhaka is not going to be in the team.
I would expect to see Sambi, but I think the reason why he might not do that is because he won't have somebody he can bring off the bench. If he does that, he'll have basically a really strong 11 and nothing in that area, anyways, to bring on to change it significantly in terms of whether we need to chase for a goal or not. So I have a feeling he might go with Maitland-Niles. I don't expect El Neni, but wouldn't be surprised. I think it was Stan probably. Stan mentioned this when he was on the show on Monday. El Neni comes in, he's like a closer.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So he's good for that. So I don't know if he'll be able to start and give us what we need for the first 70, 80 minutes of a match. But I think Maitland-Niles has been okay. Is he anywhere close to Sambi? I don't think so. Sambi still needs a little bit more seasoning or a little bit more time to age, age and stuff like that. But he's playing for his national team, so Maitland-Niles is not. I don't know, what that said. Belgium's a really good team to be on, right? So I would expect that means he's got something there. So I'd like to see Sambi, especially going into the international break, because I think the last time he didn't even play going into the international break, and then he ended up playing in the international break. And I'm like, how can he play for his country but not for his club team? So I said we should go as strong as we can, but I can see why he might not do that.
Going as strong as you can means also you can do a lot of things and still be as strong as you can. As a counterpoint, maybe I would go with a single pivot, or the Odegaard and Emile Smith-Rowe in midfield, and bring Pepe into the fold. So just food for thought. Stan, what would you do now moving forward against Brighton with Granit Xhaka not being in the team? Would you go single pivot or double pivot?
Away from home, I think it's a perfect opportunity for Edu to keep to his word. When he was talking about Sambi Lokonga in his interview, he said that he referred to him as the next man. He said that if either Partey or Xhaka can't play, then he plays. So I'd like to see that, but I am concerned that between now and January that we are going to be incredibly short in the midfield, because Xhaka's going to be out for a while now. Yep. And if we're going to say that, I mean, it worked having Emil Smith-Rowe on the left and Saka on the right. And I do think that Saka seems to be better on the right. I mean, that's the position that he plays for his country as well. So then on that left-hand side, are we now saying that Emil Smith-Rowe is going to be our naturally sided left player? Because it leaves us short, because I kind of felt that we would have games where Odegaard would play and maybe later on in the game Emil Smith-Rowe would come on and would take off Odegaard or change it around, or even vice versa. There'd be games where Emil Smith-Rowe would start and then perhaps later in the game Odegaard would come on. But if we're going to use them at the same time in the majority of the games, it's going to leave us pretty thin. So are we happy? Are we comfortable? I know Tony is, with Pepe playing on the left. I know Tony thinks that Pepe plays on the left better. Because I don't want to disrupt Xhaka from the right-hand side now. I want him to be comfortable in one place. And then on top of that, you've got the African League of African Nations Cup starting as well, which takes players away from us. You know, El Neni, he'll be off.
Pepe
out of our midfield. Pepe will be gone from the midfield as well. So they're going to have to look at, I think, in January of bringing another midfielder in. And I'm just thinking that, you know, there's a plan to be hatched of driving up the M1 to Manchester and freeing Donny van der Beek from the prison that is Old Trafford. Because, I mean, I feel so sorry for him, just sat there, like, getting splinters in his bum cheeks every week. Like,
did you see him yesterday?
It was that picture they... Did you not, like, you're talking about the picture from the sidelines?
Yes.
I know it was real, but did it not look like he was like superimposed in? It really looked like he'd been photoshopped in just to not leave him out, or he done it and put it himself in. Do you know what I mean? But
no, the thing I saw was Danny van der Beek throwing some chewing gum at the foot of Ole, but I think you're talking about something else.
Oh, I didn't see that one. But the point I'm just saying is that I think that we are very light. Even if you throw in an Ainsley Maitland-Niles, we're still going to be light, I think. And then that's discounting any injuries that might rear their head. So they're going to have to go back into the market, I think, in January.
Yeah.
Or Jack Wilshere, you don't have to wait till January, do you? If he's not in contract, you can bring a player in that is not in a contract at any time. And if he's hanging around the club, you never know.
I mean, I'd be okay for the odd cup game in here and there, as long as he's third, fourth, or fifth choice in the depth chart. Then you know what I mean.
6th, 7th, 8th choice.
Gary's thinking about that one intently.
I mean, I don't want to go back to that well personally, but it's almost like if he's there and he's able and he's running around in training doing all right, and we're really short in midfield, it's kind of cutting your nose off to spite your face to just overlook him. Do you know what I mean? And play like, Tavares as a holding midfielder just to spite, just to put someone in there.
Yeah, but Stan, do we not have enough in El Neni? I mean, okay.
But he'll be going to the Africans Cup, though, won't he?
He'll be gone, okay. But you'll have Granit Xhaka back by then. Granit Xhaka will be back.
Oh, good.
How different? What's the difference between that and what we just saw? We just saw him. He was out for a number of weeks. He comes back in and he's out again. You're talking about pretty much a similar thing if it works out, depending on when he comes back, right? He's not supposed to come back till the new year. And when does AFCON start? In January. So will he actually be practicing and playing in January, ready to go, or will he not? Yeah. Right, because that's going to be the big question. Like, I mean, you're looking at his training, you're looking at his rehab, right? Come say late November, right? You're looking at it, you're like, I don't know if he's going to be ready to start practicing with us in late December, early January, right? So then what are you doing then? That's when
he is that pupil. He is that student who will get himself ready. He'll be ready 100%.
What's the other option? Someone like a Charlie Patino, perhaps, getting a shout, or you call back an Aziz from loan? I don't know.
You can't guarantee that he will be back. You can't guarantee that. So what I'm saying is you have to have an answer for that, right?
But also, Gary, it was a freak occurrence. It wasn't Granit Xhaka's fault that he got injured.
No, I'm not saying that, but his recovery is whatever it is. He might come back healthy and not be the same Xhaka and be worse because he can't do the things he wants to do.
A worse Xhaka? Fucking hell.
Well, that's what we know. That's what we.
I'm going to bring my lunch up.
But we've seen this before, right? That's an injury you don't expect to see, right?
Gary,
it is possible. There is worse than what we've seen.
Do you remember, Gary, on the show on Monday, I did explain the reason why he got injured. You remember? The football gods have acted.
I did mention.
Remember that? They've acted because they were like, hold on a minute, this isn't working out. They gave him the red card. He was out for 3 games. We got to look at Sambi Lokonga. The football gods were sat there going, yeah, you see? This is how it should be. What happens? He comes back from his red cards. Mcl puts him straight back in the team, and the football gods are like, really? Is that you think so? They pulled a bigger card, mate. They took him out. They were like, we need to make this guy listen to us. So I truly believe that the football gods are pulling the strings. They don't want him in there.
Yeah. I just had a terrible
Steve said, what is that? What did I miss on the Steve comment? And he put it up for a little bit.
You can't guarantee that. You said you can't guarantee that, right? Guarantee, get it? Guarantee.
A pun.
So
sorry, I'm sorry. English is not my first language, I guess, right?
And Connor's here, Connor McDonald. These are the games that Granit Xhaka will be targeting. I was going to say terminating because Granit Xhaka reminds me of the Terminator.
He's very robust.
Just keeps coming back. You peel that skin away. You know there's metal and circuits back there.
T6000.
Stan, what's your thoughts on Granit Xhaka's injury?
I'm not pleased that he's injured, obviously. I'm not like, yeah, great. I'm glad. I hope his leg falls off while he's asleep. I'm not. But for me, I'm like, okay, we see what else that we've got, and I just hope that sometimes Arteta's had some what I call happy accidents where he stumbled upon things like the ESR, and things like that. So I'm hoping that Sambi Lokonga comes in, or whoever it is that comes in, and we're successful and we're able to compete without him, and it makes it harder for him to just swan back into the team when he's better. Hopefully by then as well, the January window opens. There has been talk that there are other clubs still looking at him, so that's not off the table. He may be gone in January and we get someone else. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, listen, we're going to get into. I think we spent enough time on Granit Xhaka and all that stuff. So hopefully he recovers. It is an MCL injury, and it's not needing surgery. It's physiotherapy.
What is MCL, by the way? Is that like muscles or ligaments or something, or what?
Medial crucial ligament, right? Tony?
Okay.
Yeah. So I think one allows you to move left, right, which is the ACL, I believe, and the MCL is basically, forward and backwards speed, basically, I believe, if I recall. And so it's not going to change. I don't think it's going to change much for him because I don't think we look for his speed going forward, anyways. But
he's not losing more speed.
Well, he's not gonna. Well, it's not like it's not something where you're gonna go, oh man, his pace is so slow now. It's not one of those
noticeably different. Sorry, his MCL has slowed him down noticeably.
No, I mean, like I said, I don't wish injury on anyone. I mean, I just like this. I just believe that there are better options that Arsenal have.
Wow.
Are any of us disappointed that he got injured?
I don't want anybody to get injured. I'm going to say that much.
If you're to choose one player that's starting 11, it's probably going to be Granit Xhaka. I'll put my hand up and say, yeah, he was probably the weakest link in that first 11, even though he played really well.
I mean, there were some good points. He set up a couple of the moves for some goals, but and probably because he's not my favourite player, I over scrutinise him sometimes. But I've just noticed with him that when he goes in for the tackle, he has 2 options. He either goes sliding in on his arse, he goes to ground to tackle. If he doesn't do that, and the guy's running parallel to him or about to run past him, he just puts both of his arms in front of the guy and pulls him back. Yeah. And sometimes it results in the person falling to the ground. And he'd done that during that game. There was one time when he went sliding in and he He went to go and try and get the ball off Ndombele, and he just slid past him, and it's almost like Ndombele stood there and watched him slide by, and it just reminded me of, when you go to one of them sushi restaurants and the food's going by you on a conveyor belt, and you stand there and you're just looking at it going by, and you think, I might have that one. Kind of reminded me of that. Another time he went sliding in, and then as he went sliding in, it was in our penalty box. He pulled out of the slide. He stopped himself, but I'm just thinking to myself, you're still sat on your ass on the ground, and the game is still going on around you. You're no good to anyone sat on the ground. And I just feel that by coming back into the team, and if he stays a part of a permanent fixture of Arsenal, it's obvious after 5 or 6 seasons now that he's not going to get. It's impossible to get that out of his game. And when he does those things that I've just highlighted, it invariably costs us points. That's the problem. So it's no good coming in for having maybe 2 or 3 games and doing some nice things, and then you go and do that, and it costs points. We're never going to get to where we want to be with those valuable points that keep going missing every season because of those issues he has on the tackle.
Yep.
I guess a question I have also is, all right, Xhaka is playing in that position. What player is actually that you see out there actually in that same position doing it well, playing that position actually well? Because I'd like to know what it looks like. Like, what does he play, and then who plays it the same, that we can actually look at and go, you know what, that's what we're looking to get to.
Person? Okay, sorry, go on, right?
Paul Pogba. I haven't seen a lot of United, but he's quite tidy. He can do some decent stuff going forward.
All right, somebody at our money at our transfer budget range then.
I think we already have that player. I think it's Thomas Partey, and I think that we should have another player that plays slightly deeper than Partey.
Okay, I can take the role of what Thomas.
Yeah,
Partey
I think Thomas Partey is not a typical central defensive midfielder. Yeah, he can go in on the tackle and help shore it up, but I think, and I'm just going to pick a name out of there, if you had someone like a Basuma playing more deeper, and you had Partey sort of like next to him, but the one maybe receiving the ball from a Basuma, and then you've got Odegaard or ESR doing their creative thing. That's what I think we need to do. So I think that we already have Xhaka's replacement within us.
Yeah, and that kind of ties into what Steve Denham's asking. If Arsenal were to sign a player in January, who would you guys like to see come in, a realistic target? I'm going to throw one out there. James Ward-Prowse, and Stan's put Basuma in, so I'm not putting Gary or Tony on the spot, but if you have a name out there, just throw it out there at me. It's difficult, just throw one at you like that.
I always had Basuma as somebody I thought we should have brought in, prior to the season anyway. So the fact that he's still available if we want him and he wants to play for Arsenal, why not? Fill the need, and then you have your starting 11. Basically, I would think to some degree you have your starting 11 if Aubameyang's going to continue to play the way he is. But yeah, I just think we can do better than what we got, even if we went the cheap route and said, you know what, we can't get a Basuma because he costs too much, but I think we can still do better than what we've got. I mean, I don't know how Aziz does he play in that spot? He doesn't play much defensively, does he? Or is he kind of more? I don't.
More of just a midfielder, I think.
Granit Xhaka is more of a pure midfielder as well. Passing is a big part of his game. So,
what about Lokonga though? What about instead of a Basuma, what I described previously, but have Lokonga exactly what I described in that role with Partey?
Yep. Yeah, and he has described himself as a 6, more of a 6, but he can also play as an 8 stand. So, I think it's worth. I think we're going to see.
And then we can go and buy Donny. And then we can go and buy Donny or rescue Donny.
You're stuck on Donny, but
I'm not giving up hope.
Not giving up hope. No, I mean things are so bad there. We have to go and get him now while United think we're not as bad as we actually are.
That time's been coming for a very long time, right? He got there, everybody's like, all right, good. They got him. I think that when he got there, I think Stan, you were happy for that. You were sad for that move because we didn't get him, and now he doesn't even play. And we're like, everybody in the world is like, what's going on here? He doesn't play. and he's a good, decent player. He could be playing somewhere else for sure. He's just sitting on the bench there, right?
Didn't he? I think he even missed out on. Was he injured, or was he for the Euros, or was he not selected because he wasn't at the Euros? I can't remember if he was injured, but if he was injured, how did he get injured? He's not playing. Yeah, did you yourself sat on the bench? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I think for what they paid for him, what was it just £30 million? Maybe a little bit more.
Maybe close to 40. Maybe I think.
38 million euros, maybe. Yeah. But mate, surely if you're not playing, you have a bit of a bargaining chip there, right? The value must be slightly less than that now. I don't know.
It says I'm just looking at the report here. So he missed the Euros for an undisclosed injury or unspecified injury. So we don't know.
All right. So let's move on to. We're going to get into the Premier League, and we're going to preview the Brighton game on Saturday. For some reason, I keep thinking it's a Monday game, but it's actually a Saturday game. And I was looking back at this, Gary, and there's a famous matchup 2 seasons ago where we lose 2-1. I'm calling it Guendouzi Gate. I was looking at the lineup back then. It was only 15 months ago. It was June of 2020. And we only had 2 of the starting lineup from the weekend playing in that game. So we've gone through a big transformation in 15 months. A lot of players being switched out. So mentality is different, but it's going to be a tough game at Brighton.
No, they're playing really, really well, right? So yeah, that's going to be. We're going to have to take what we just did. Right, we're going to have to take what we just did and build on it. So we're going to have to get better than we were last week. I mean, right? And I don't think any of us think that we are where we want to be right now. But I think, we need to be better than we were. We need to improve from last week. Get better.
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at that lineup, right? I'm just looking like you said, looking at that lineup right now. And,
there's some
and basically outside of Aubameyang.
Saka.
Yeah, and Saka, that's it. Everybody else is either gone, right? Like Bellerin, Ceballos, Mustafi, Guendouzi, Kolasinac. I mean, those are all gone, and then Bernardo's still around, and Lacazette, still around, and Holding is not coming off the bench anytime soon. So yeah, I mean, we've improved, and it should be definitely a different game than it was last time. There's a lot of things we can work on from that second half of the match, right? I think the first half, I mean, is 3 goals. Is that like not enough and a half? Can we look at that and go, you know what? We could have got 5 goals. I don't think that's a good. I think we did good with the 3 goals. We should have scored the 4th in the second half for sure, but we need to improve. We need not improve, but we need to do things a little bit better, to build on that game. And I think if we can, I don't know. I guess the question is how bad are our Spurs? In comparison, is Brighton going to finish ahead? Is Brighton going to finish ahead of them as well? At the end of the season when we look back?
You would say right now, Gary, pound for pound, that the Brighton players are probably a better team than Tottenham right now.
Mm.
Would that be fair? And this represents a bigger challenge for us going forward.
Well, and that's what's going to be telling is if Crystal Palace played them the way they did, how do we compare to Crystal Palace? Or is it the manager? Once again, we're not there yet. 100% behind Arteta, the manager, and the coach. So we'll find out. All right, we'll find out because once we play them, we'll know. Was Crystal Palace just a blip, and and we are much better than them, or is it a combination of coaching and coaching your players the right way? We'll find out.
Stan, last season, I can't get away from comparing what we did last season to liken us to West Ham. So I don't know if Stan is still there right now, but. What? Yeah. Are we West Ham last season? They had a rocky start against us, and we actually remember talking to Charlie last season, 2-1 win. We were lucky. We were lucky to win that game 2-1.
Oh, I wouldn't mind being West Ham this season. they're playing European games, right? Their fans are getting to see their team play more. But Brighton are quite a plucky team. Even when we've drawn or won against them, they don't make it easy for us.
No.
And it's a while now, away games now with away crowds. It's a different. Some of these players now have to get used to this. Some of those players that came into the team during the COVID era when there was nobody in the stadium, they're going to have to get used to that now. But they're a plucky team, Brighton. I mean, they're a team that when they originally came up, you thought, well, how long are they going to last? And they're still here. They're still here, and they play as a good team as well. But this game for me is really important because what we saw, that performance now, we should use that as a marker in the North London derby.
Yeah.
If there's nowhere for these players to hide because they've just shown us what's possible.
Yeah.
Right? They can't just go there now and then turn it down a few notches because what does that mean? These are players now that should be buzzing and bouncing after that result. If we go there and we play, if we go back to playing how we did at the beginning of the season, then I'm going to be worried. But I've been seeing improvement since the Norwich game. I have gradually and slowly. I've been seeing improvement, and it kind of crescendoed a little bit in that first half against Tottenham. So let's see that again.
Yeah, me too.
Let's see that again.
We sent the divers. We sent the divers down. We attached the tubes. We inflated the tubes, Gary. We rose the Titanic.
He's not giving up on it, is he?
I know. He just. Oh my God.
Stan got me back
he's that used car salesman. He's like, I want a Porsche, but I got this Pinto over here. I know it's what you want. No, I want a Porsche. No, I got this Pinto. Look at it. It's got a spoiler on the back. It's set. Like, no.
The previous owner was a nun. She only drove it to church on a Sunday. So
you all bend to my will. Damn it.
You know what I was gonna say is, when you look at that, say Spurs are that poor, they are that bad. This is why when we looked at the preseason, I said, you know what, the preseason's got to be indicative of how you're gonna want to play come the regular season when it starts up. All right. So if Spurs are that poor and we can do whatever we want because they can't keep up with us, then that's what the match should look like in the first 45 minutes of a game. Right. Right. So we'll find out in the next game, how far we are from where we want to be, because Brighton is playing a lot better.
That's the only thing with the Premiership, Steven says. No matter what teams are playing, they can always cause an upset.
Yeah.
Stan forgot to copyright the Spidey avatar. Ready to tugboat captain. I'm going to keep on tugging at it.
You're loving these. You're trying to get this nautical thing going, aren't you?
1 minute we're an airline, now we're a cruise liner. I don't get it.
I like a good analogy.
Next, we're going to be underwater in a submarine or up in a spaceship. I don't know which way we're going.
Because he's got a pirate with him.
I got to go down into the engine room right now, so I'm going to be right.
What are we though? The Titanic or the Love Boat?
We are definitely not the Love Boat.
Love Boat.
I don't think we are the Love Boat.
Been watching episodes of that on YouTube recently, but that's another story.
That is another story. So I'm going to dive out for a second, but I'll leave you, Stan, carry on the conversation. Last season, we beat Chelsea 3-1, December 26th, that famous date. The next fixture was Brighton away from home. Is there any correlation to...
Remind me of the score? The Brighton game?
It was 1-0 Lacazette, a tidy finish. Is there can we correlate or read something to beating Tottenham 3-1 and now going away to Brighton? Should we see some kind of similar performance there? And that wasn't an easy game. We took our chance. I'll be right back.
Well,
debate.
It was interesting that in the North London derby that we didn't draw from the well of Lacazette. He didn't get a run out. Pepe didn't get a run out. So you'd like to think that these are players that are chomping at the bit. But I don't know what you guys think. But do you think that he's going to go with the exact same lineup. Obviously, Xhaka can't play, and just switch in Sambi and leave it at that.
Yep, I think you will.
You don't think that Pepe's going to get a sniff anywhere, or he may, tinker, Aubameyang on the left, Lacazette in the middle? Or are we going to see exactly what we saw at the
We're going to see a Xerox copy.
What do you reckon, Gary?
Yeah, I don't think we should change it much. I mean, we've been wanting consistency in our lineup for years, right? It would be so nice. I mean, now we're being forced, right? I would have liked to have seen Sambi already. That way, we're playing this game with Sambi and not worrying about bringing him in. But the more that we can, the more that the changing parts don't happen as much, the better off I think we're going to be, right? Like it's like right now, if he decided to go in and he switched out, I don't know, White, and put in Chambers or Holding or something like that, we would be like, "What the world are you doing?" Right? Yeah. So we're not expecting the back five to change at all, right? You're not going to put Leno in, right? You're not expecting to see that happen, right? So I would expect us to have minimal changes so that we can actually build on it when we come back after the break, right? Because he should have his 11, and his 11 is pretty strong in the sense that a lot of them are going to be traveling. The ones that can travel anyways will be traveling. And that's a good sign, right? When you have players come in and they're like on the cusp of playing for their country. So the more we're doing it, the better off I think we're going to be. So we should, I think, just like you said, just the one change, whoever's going to replace Xhaka, and that's it.
See, the one thing that when I looked at the lineup for the North London Derby, and I saw that initially Pepe wasn't in the lineup, I was concerned because going up until that point, the only people in our squad that we can kind of look to that can score a goal or create a goal, I think, has been Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Pepe. And so not having Pepe in that lineup for the North London Derby, I was thinking, well, where are the goals going to come from? Because up until that point, Saka and ESR, as well as they've been playing and some of the good things that they've been doing, we've been short on end product, haven't we, from them, goals and assists. Yeah. So have we now, do you think we've unlocked something and moving forward? Do you know what I'm getting at? Because it was a North London derby, you know, both Saka and ESR assisting and scoring goals, brilliant. And I bet they were buzzing, couldn't sleep that night, scoring against their actual enemy. But moving forward now, are we counting on them for goals? Do you know what I mean?
I think coming into this season, I know I was expecting to see some improvement across the board. I was expecting Pepe to be kind of challenging for getting close to 20, between the 15 and 20 goal mark in the Premier League. I was expecting that based on the way he ended. I was expecting Mcl and Saka to be getting close to getting over 10 goals and assists combined. Yeah. Right? That's kind of what I was looking for. Is you need to see some progression, and to see them come out and both get a goal and assist in that game is promising. Can they build on it? We'll see. And that's what Arteta is going to have to figure out a way to do. Now, what we see from Pepe, we know we can get it, but are we going to? We don't think we're going to see that kind of play out of him for 70, 80 minutes, right? What we got from Mcl and Saka for those 70, 80 minutes when they were on the pitch, we don't get that from Pepe.
No,
we haven't seen it yet, and I believe it's in there, but we don't see it. So I don't know. I mean,
that's why he frustrates me with Pepe, because I'll be frustrated him for 50 minutes, 55 minutes, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he'll do something, and it may lead to a goal if he's not scored it directly, and then it kind of absolves it. Can we afford to have that a maverick in our team? If you're going to produce. Yep. Sometimes I felt Sanchez was a bit like that. He would frustrate me, and then he would do something, and it would result in us getting a goal.
Yeah, but you know what? I look at it a little differently though, because when he loses the ball, it's always, to me, attacking going forward. Whereas Pepe, for me, he's hesitant, and then it's over, right? Sanchez was full go, and sometimes he would just lose the ball. I see that. I get that. I want more of that than I want what I see from Pepe, where think about it. If that was Pepe taking that ball out there where Saka was, with all that space and just one person in front of him, do you think somehow he would have ended up with a goal even when the guy came in and slid? typically when that happens, the slide comes in, the ball's gone, and they're going back the other way.
Do one thing for me, Gary. Imagine Alexis Sanchez, and you think of him one time, and imagine the position he's on the field when you see that. When you think of Alexis Sanchez, position on his field, do the same thing for Pepe. Is Pepe closer to goal than Sanchez? Generally, I would think that Alexis Sanchez. I'm thinking about it. His one spot on the field he always was. I think that's a little bit closer. It's about 10 yards closer to goal than Pepe is. And that's maybe Pepe's problem, I think.
Okay, maybe I didn't catch that. Pepe's problem is
if I say Alexis Sanchez to you, you imagine him where he is on the pitch. And if I say Pepe, you probably imagine he's closer to the touchline than goal, right? And that's the big difference, I think, between the two players.
And that
he just hasn't given us enough moments to know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we've seen more than enough, and we've seen players come up from behind him. Think about it. Since he's been here, Xhaka was playing, for the U23s and whatnot, coming in and playing for cup matches, and now he's starting. So he's gotten jumped, and Milsrove Rowe was playing, outside the league, and comes in, and he's in there pushing him out, pushing him to the bench, right? You're getting that. So you're getting that from your players that come through your academy, and you're bumping that guy. At some point, you're going to have to say, you know what, we're going to have to cut our losses and maybe bring somebody else in. That's what you're looking at sometimes, because it should be easy for him to do. I mean, they're showing him the way. If he wants to come in and play, he's got to do certain things. And I'm more talking about the offensive side, and then the tracking back, which is what I think Arteta wanted from him initially, but I don't think they have to do it as much now that I've seen, because I think we're getting a lot stronger defensively. So that back five is key to this whole thing. It should make it easier for Pepe to get in those positions that he wants to now, because that ball's not going through there too often. All right,
that's a great point, because I actually think the Tottenham goal comes from Saka's. If we're going to blame any one Arsenal player, I know it was a breakdown and Son got in quick, but Saka misses his assignment. And I think Tomiyasu is a very, very good acquisition, because he's going to cover up for a Pepe or a Saka, whoever plays in front of him.
So just tell me, so Saka did not get injured on their goal? He got injured.
Bukayo Saka.
Xhaka, sorry.
No, Saka.
Xhaka did not get. Oh, so Saka is the reason why they scored?
Yeah, if you look back, Saka gets sucked in. Tomiyasu's got to step forward to help Saka.
All right, I get those. I get it. Sorry, I got a little confused.
It's a breakdown. So I just noticed. We also noticed that Bukayo Saka was not great against Chelsea, for positionally, and nobody was good against Chelsea. But I think there's some deficiencies in his defensive game that Tomiyasu is going to help cover up for Bukayo and free him up to do things like the third goal against Tottenham, the things we like, Steven said the difference is Pepe is under more pressure, because if he misses, it's a perfect excuse for Arteta to drop him and leave him out. Tony will bring
in. And that's the confidence thing, though, right? That's the confidence thing that, no matter what Xhaka does, he knows he's got the manager's back, right? Everything that he's done, has always got the manager's backing him. Right? He gets a red card, backs him. Gets another red card, slap on the butt.
Right back. Right?
Right? He's got an injury now. We can't wait to get him back. When's the last time you hear him say that about any other player consistently?
No, I mean, you might say it about Bukayo Saka, but everybody says it about Bukayo.
No, he doesn't even say it about Aubameyang, his highest paid player, who, if his only reason why he has an FA Cup. Think about it. The only reason why he has an FA Cup is because Aubameyang did what he did for a number of games going into that final. And then in the final, he shows up as well. He doesn't even get – I don't think he gets the same backing from his manager.
Whose name, Tony?
His name.
X?
You say Tony, then Gary starts speaking.
Yeah, I said, Tony, I'll bring you in, and Gary.
I was, because you put up a thing, and I was about to reply to it. Then you switched gears. You didn't give me a chance. And I didn't jump you, Tony. He was moving on to something else. Weren't you moving on to something else, Ray?
Yes.
Yeah. See, and I was trying to get back to before you get there. So sorry for the interruption. We're gonna go in some order now.
No, jump in, whatever. I mean, I like to be structured, but I also like to have the cross mojonation as well. Cross mojo. Steven said, I hope this is the start of all the players scoring week in, week out, even if they rotate Pepe and Martinelli with Saka and Emil Smith Rowe. The quality we have, we shouldn't struggle for goals. And I think Stan posed the question. This is what we're going to go forward with now. Emil Smith Rowe, Erdegaard. It gives us what's to call it, integrity or stability on the ball. But Pepe doesn't give us that stability, but I think he gives us a little bit more going forward throughout the season. We're not going to like it, but he will give us more goals than Bukayo Saka will or Emil Smith Rowe. Get through a few Stevens comments here. Pepe needs more game time. It doesn't help playing 1 or 2 games then getting dropped, no matter how well he's playing. It's Arteta who's a clown and doesn't use him right. Any other manager would love Pepe, but they would take him and say, you don't come back over that halfway line, concentrate on attacking. Yeah, and I think actually, I thought in the Burnley game, he was backtracking quite well. He just hasn't had the opportunities going forward, hasn't taken his chance in the team yet. This is what competition's all about, Tony, though. Pepe has to win his place back in the team. That's what Riddy just said. This is what competition's all about.
Yeah, he should be putting his name on the team sheet, but he hasn't done it yet. He doesn't take advantage of the chances when he does get in there. Like I said, he should be getting 30-plus starts for us, but Arteta's not to hand them to him. He's got to go out there and earn them.
And we're 6 league games in, so we have another 32 to go. So you would say there's plenty of time still, Tony, for him to make his mark.
Yeah, hopefully he does, and hopefully Arteta lets him make his mark.
Steven said, I bet any manager in the top 6 could use Pepe, get 15, 20 goals out of him. Look at Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe. Arteta can't get 15 goals out of these players. And, Steven, it's going to be very telling at Brighton. We joked a little bit about Henry and taking Daniel Ek to Brighton because that's what we need to do for Aubameyang to turn up at the seaside shore, This type of character we want to see from our lads. High standards leading to improved performance. So, listen, it's all laid out there. Let's wrap a bow tie on this one, Stan, for the Brighton Arsenal game, and then we'll get into the Premier League preview. So, what do you want to see against Brighton, Stan?
I want to see what I saw in the first half at the North London Derby, and I'd like to see it continue into the second half a little bit further. And I'm thinking that as the season goes on, and we're only going to be playing essentially 1 game a week for most of it because of no European competition, we shouldn't really, other than injuries, need to be resting players because they should be getting plenty of rest. So it's going to be a good time for Mcl Injury to gel how his team wants to play with the players that he's got. So I want to see more of the same, well, what I saw in the North London Derby, and by playing once a week, you may see that we're able to continue that intensity for longer periods of the game, right? As players are getting more fit as the season goes on. Hopefully, that's what I will see now. Yeah.
With the 2 cup games, 8 games into the season, we have 2 avatars now, Gary. So we're playing a 2 versus 2 here. So, Gary, what do you want to see on Saturday?
Yeah, kind of similar to what Stan said. Yeah, I mean, we have now a blueprint. We have now a plan that you can actually go back and look at tape and say, the team, this is what we want to do. So we're going to have to figure out how to do this when a team wants to stop us from doing that. Brighton probably is a little bit more better organized, right? But they got some injuries, right? So they're not going to have their best players out there. I think Basuma's out probably, right?
Yeah, there's a doubt against Basuma, an ankle injury, I think.
So even if he comes back, he's going to be probably not 100% anyways, right? So he's going to come out. So we should try to do exactly what we want. If that's what Arteta, if that's the style of play that he's looking to get, we should be able to say this is how we're going to play every week when we have a chance. And I expect to see the same thing again, all right? And we should be a little, we can fine tune some things to make it look a little bit more seamless. And we're going to have, instead of Xhaka, we're going to have either Sambi or Maitland-Niles there. So if Maitland-Niles is there, I assume that pushes Partey up the field a little bit more as opposed to Partey backwards, right? So that should be good for us as well. Maybe when we do the same thing, I think last week, I see the guesses for the score of the game. Last week it was 3-1 because we wanted to, at least be ahead of Spurs when we come out of this. We're not going to be able to jump Brighton with this one match, so best we can do is get right behind them in terms of position in the table. Yeah, and so we have to. What is that? I think we have to score. We have to beat them by 3, I guess, to at least be close to them on goal difference.
Who's that? Brighton?
Yeah, I guess probably more than 3, but Yeah.
So we're going to start looking at the table pretty soon. Actually, if we do win this game, there's not a lot of points between the Gaggle teams ahead of us. 4 points really to the Brightons, the Evertons, and the other teams. So I think the most important thing, Gary, is to take care of business, get the 3 points. It scares me that it is an evening kickoff on a Saturday. I'm not making excuses. I'm not setting the narrative.
Good for me. I'll get a lie in.
You'll have a bit of a lie-in. So you
get like lunchtime, 11 o'clock here, 12 maybe.
9:30 your time, about 9:30. You'll have a nice bit of I don't know. You'll probably have to get some beans out of a can, put it on some toast. Right, Stan?
I'll get through. Don't worry about me.
I've been listening to beans on toast.
I'll have a cup of soup or something. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, you gotta learn. I'll get you a cookbook or something. You gotta do something.
No, I'm fine. It's a kebab shop like 2 doors away, so I'm sweet.
Next,
you got him on speed dial.
Yeah, man.
So
number 1 on speed dial.
I just like go. Hi, it's Stan, the usual.
So Gary and Tony, Sunday's pre-game show will be us making omelets, so the Stan will know how to make an omelet. For his
you can do that.
Yeah.
Good
enough. Break some eggs. Exactly. Tony, I think I need to ask you, what do you want to see for the Brighton game?
I want to see the same intensity and same fight for 90 minutes.
No, you don't. You want to see Lacazette, you liar.
I want to see Lacazette.
And Chambers.
And Chambers, yeah. And Chambers.
I don't think we're going to get to see Lacazette until cup games, unfortunately.
Stan, how Arsenal played against Spurs, that's the benchmark. Anything less just won't do. Every game is different, though, Stan. I mean, you want us to come out at Brighton and start playing swashbuckling, scintillating football, but every game is different.
I know, but the players did show us a certain level of, if you compare it to the beginning of the season, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a big fucking difference, Yeah. If anything, I would say the two best performance, the two sort of closer performances was that one, and the one against West Bromwich Albion. You look at those 2 games, and I kind of see coherent football. Look at the Brentford game and the Man City game, and you're just like, what's going on there? It's like everyone's all over the place.
Yeah. Since we're on the topic of breakfast, so Saturday morning, Gary, what's going to be your pre-match? What's going to be your breakfast meal?
I don't know. I don't eat breakfast that much these days, and when I do, it's usually a lot healthier than that. Even though I would like that.
And chips. Come on.
Yeah, I wish that would be perfect. I just don't. I don't eat like that much these days. Not. I guess because
It's all in Peloton, right?
It's not on the Peloton diet plan.
Before I go to Stan, might have a rethink about his breakfast. But Tony, what are you going to have for breakfast Saturday morning?
Pre-match. That'd be cinnamon Cheerios, couple pieces of sausage, and that's probably about it. With almond milk and Cheerios.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And you got to be on a diabetic friendly diet. So I commend you for doing that and sticking to it. Stan, what do you got for breakfast on Saturday?
I'll probably make myself a bacon BLT in a sort of like a baguette thing. I like that.
Oh no, that sounds good. I'll take one of those, please.
Onion, bit of onion in there, some lettuce. Well, I say BLT. It's a BL because I don't have tomato in there. There's no tomato.
You don't like tomatoes?
Nah, not all the time. So
no. Tony, what were you saying? Yeah, right. Yeah, it's your fault. Jinx me talking about the weather. It's got bad here and knocked my Wi-Fi off. So, okay, let's get into the Premier League. Gary, we'll start off with you. This is where we pick our upsets. And,
there are no upsets to be had this week, right? There are no points to pick up.
There's some very even games. So there's only a few games.
So do we only get points for the upset? All those other predictions that we do, we don't get nothing for them.
Nope, just for our upset pick.
Oh, fuck. I thought we got points for them as well. And then Ray texted me the other day. He's like, what's your prediction? And I said, what did I go for? I thought it was like, I went for Palace, didn't I, originally?
Crystal Palace to upset.
And then you explained it to me that the bigger the gap, the more the points. I'm like, no, I didn't know any of this. I'm like, all right. So like all those other predictions I don't get points for. He's like, no. I'm like, okay.
No, you picked one. You picked one. You said you were going to do it for the crack.
I didn't understand the rules though. Okay. All right. I'm off the mark. I've got 9 points now. Okay.
You are off the mark. You got half points.
How does Sam have half a point? What's happening there then?
Okay, so
11.
let's say the difference in positions was 15.
An odd number.
11
versus fourth.
You divide it by 2 and you get the half. Easy.
If it's a draw, you divide it by 2. If it's a win, you get 4 points.
So I basically should have the league table up in front of me, right? So I know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, you should.
Okay.
I actually call it out for you as we go as well. You know? Okay, Steven's asking here, Premiership predictions. Who wins? Who lose? Who's causing an upset? Exactly.
We'll get to that, Steven.
Make some bacon from here and send some petrol to the UK. Yeah, that's crazy what's going on in the UK. Does anyone really know what's going on in the UK with the petrol?
Yeah, I think it's basically there's a petrol shortage, right? But it's like during lockdown, right? There were hardly any cars on the road. No one was driving anywhere. Petrol has a shelf life of 6 months. So it's probably better. It's probably better to tell people there's a shortage so they can sell up all that old fucking petrol rather than flush it away. That's what I think. Because how can it be a petrol shortage? No fucker was driving during lockdown.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's got petrol has a shelf life of like 6 months and then it goes off. So you got to sell it or flush it.
So what about the Walking Dead where they're sucking petrol out of the tanks? That's not real. All right, Gary. So pretty even. Some of these are pretty even games. We start off at 7:30. First game Saturday. Man United versus Everton. 4th versus 5th. This is not a game we're going to be picking for an upset, but
I think United will win this because their depth is. I mean, they've got Van de Beek on the bench. I would hate to see what happens when he comes in because he looks like he's ready to go. So yeah, I think this one. I think I don't want to say United's going to win, but United is.
Yeah, because Everton have won 4, drawn 1, lost 1 of their 6 games.
Yeah,
doing quite well, ticking along quite well. Rafa's got them playing decently.
But I think they have injuries now. I mean, it's one of those things again where who is actually going to be playing for them come, the season.
And they rely on Dominic Calvert-Lewin, really, really a lot. Stephen said, everyone been backward. There's no petrol shortage. They just start causing panic for fuck all.
I just say the funniest thing that I did see, well, not funny, but it makes you think. It was on Twitter. It was someone was in their car at an English petrol station filming a person in front of them, and it was a woman at the fucking petrol station, right, filling carrier bags, like you'd get from the supermarket, with petrol, and then double bagging them and putting them in her boot. And she had 6 of them.
That.
Rear-ended on the way home.
Oh my gosh! You might as well just. Why don't you just seal the bag with a candle just to make sure that it doesn't. Just.
So, Darby, I'll go one better. I saw. It must have been California. It must have been the West Coast. It must have been here in the States because I saw palm trees. This girl comes out of a gas station, and she comes up and tells the guy, "I've told the cashier that this guy is filling his flatbed up, his truck. It's all lined with plastic, and he's filling it up the nozzle right into the flatbed."
You know what? If you're gonna do something, just fucking go large. Don't mess about with a little flask. Just fucking line a truck and take the petrol.
He went large, and then they went over and asked him.
Deep.
He said, "Leave me alone." He politely said, "Leave me alone." He got in the car, drove off, and as he was turning a corner, this petrol was spilling over the sides. Oh,
Jesus. Just as somebody walking along throws just finishes a cigarette and throws it into the street. Do you know what I mean?
If that petrol hits a hot exhaust pipe, the whole thing's going up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's nuts. The things people do.
Yeah.
Things people do. People are having to take the bus to their office here instead of their car. It's okay. We got sidetracked by this petrol gate here.
Petrol gate.
The shortage would stop if you stopped hanging gas.
Huffing gas. Huffing.
Pumping gas. Okay,
Huffing.
You were so close.
And hurt.
Huffing.
Huffing. You don't want to huffing.
All right.
Yeah. So how do you get hanging from huffing?
Huffing.
I don't understand what is going on here.
Autocorrect doesn't like me, Ray.
Yeah, autocorrect. It knows your tendencies. It knows you. It's artificial intelligence, Tony. 3-1 to United. What have you got, Tony? Man United versus Everton. Brady says 3-1. Stephen 2-0. Everton.
Probably 2-1 Manchester.
I'm going to go for a sneaky draw. Everton, a sneaky draw there at Manchester United. They're not playing so well. They struggled against Villarreal. And what do you think?
Well, it's bound to be a fucking Manchester United win, and it's going to be like a Cristiano Ronaldo tap-in in the fucking, 200th minute, because they'll keep playing until he gets the tap-in. You know what I mean? The game will not be allowed to stop until Ronaldo gets his tap-in. You know what I mean? We could be playing till next fucking Wednesday. They ain't scored yet. Keep going.
If a penalty comes along, man,
passed out except for Ronaldo.
If Man United, they get a penalty every game, right? So who's taking the penalty for them? Fernandez or
But it should be Ronaldo now, right? If they're going back and forth, right?
Who's got the highest stat on FIFA for penalties? Shot power.
Are they going back and forth? Is that a thing, Gary? Or
I think so. That's what I believe. Yeah.
I honestly think that Ronaldo's just kind of papering over the cracks for him.
Yeah.
Because they're not convincing, are they?
No, and
you know what I'm saying? And they've got a lot of talent in that team, man.
In our predictions podcast,
you're just sour because Donnie hasn't been playing stand.
That's what they're missing. He'd unlock everything.
Mm-hmm. Didn't Ronaldo get Rafa sacked at Madrid? So yeah, there could be a nice storyline there, really, in the background. Or Bruno will win with
Fox. It's all Fox, isn't it, Rafa? Fox. It's Fox.
Next one up is Tommy Tickle at home to Southampton.
Well, it's got to be a Tommy. It's got to be a Tommy Tickle win, isn't it? Tommy Tickle will be laughing, and that Ralph Wilson-Toll will be crying.
Tommy Tickle.
Like, every time I think of the Southampton manager, I just think of you crying. It's like they do a spitting image puppet of him. I bet it's just constantly crying.
Yeah, third place versus 16, so 13 points available if you would be tempted to think Southampton could do something at Stamford Bridge.
I just don't see that at all. No.
Yeah, I think Chelsea win this game, Gary.
Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, how did their last match go in the Champions League? They didn't do so
Chelsea.
good. They lost, right?
I literally saw someone after that game, because they did, didn't they? Right, I think they lost their Champions League game, because I saw someone tweet out, it was like a picture of Tommy Tickle, and they put a big red X over his face,
Yes.
and then they literally said, "Thanks for the Champions League final, but it's time for you to go." And I was just like, "What the?" I mean, really?
Well, that's a 12-year-old. That's
Wow.
a 12-year-old somewhere doing that, right?
Who knows?
Yeah.
But I was just like, "Fucking hell!"
Yeah, no. Chelsea's at home. No.
Different world.
Chelsea's at home, and they they still have depth. So even if easy, it should be a win for Chelsea.
I'll go with that 2-0 ready as well. 2-0 to Chelsea, and Tommy gets his tummy tickled.
I think it'd be more than 2-0. I think they're going to hand it to him. That guy would be proper crying after the game. Balling.
What have you got, Tony?
Yeah, with a 4-point lead, it'd be smart with me to go in for the 13-point upset since everything.
Somebody dropped the remote.
Yeah, Stan knocked his phone over.
Stan?
I'm
Stan
here.
knocked his phone
Okay.
over.
So, my controller.
What are you doing, Tony?
Stan feels like he's like airport control. You know, we're calling in to Stan at the tower.
I didn't make the flight. They caught something on me as I was going through baggage control, and I'm in the back room. I'm waiting for Rohan, my legal representation, to get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you've been detained in the back room.
I think it's all those piercings. You know, told you about that.
Every time you see me go on mute, that's because somebody's walking by the door and I'm trying to hide my phone. So,
well, you either better call Saul or you better call Ro.
I've called Rohan, but he ain't picking up.
Oh,
Must be bad reception in this fucking limousine.
Tony, you said Chelsea's going to win, right?
Yeah, Chelsea 2-0 probably.
All right, Tony. Wolves versus Newcastle. Wolves at home to Newcastle, 14th versus 17th.
A whole 3 points.
A whole 3 points if you pick Newcastle.
Who's at home?
Wolves are at home, but you have to pick the lower place team, which would be Newcastle.
I don't have to do shit, right? I can pick teams if I want to.
I'm leading.
They didn't say you had to do anything. Well,
He just said that.
No, he did not tell you what you had to do.
Yeah, he did. He just said it.
Jeez. You understand? You understand English?
He said you have to pick the lower pick team.
Yeah, you do. That's actually true.
If that's the fixture you want to pick.
He was
I don't know how
the
he's
rules.
leading this thing, Gary. I don't know how he's leading this thing. He's on 32 points right now.
I'm going for Wolves.
Oh man, I can't.
Yeah. So you think Wolves are going to win this game?
I'll go for our on the stoop buddy.
I'm not drinking a Sambuca.
Gary drinking a Sambuca. 2-1 to Wolves is ready.
Gary's back on the coconut water.
No upset here.
Stan, no upset at all. What's going on with Newcastle?
That's where my heart is. I'd love to see them get a little bit further up the table, but I think they're banging trouble. Everyone's going 2-1 Wolves, and I think that's fair. Mm-hmm. That's what I probably would see I would go with as well. 2-1 Wolves.
Jimenez back. It was really, really good to see him score in the last game.
And I think I think that last game for Crystal Palace is going to be. That's one of those like deflators. You know, those games that just deflate your any kind of confidence you might have. Right? You have a lead in the 90th minute, and you come away and you give away. You lose the 2 points. And then you got to go back on the road to a Wolves team who's looked like they're up and coming, getting back to some sort of normalcy in the way that they're playing.
Yeah.
Bad
mix.
Bad mix, yeah.
Yeah. You see Wolves winning that one, Gary?
Yep.
I'm going to go for a draw on this one. I think Wolves and Newcastle have not been.
You're to upset your on the stoop brethren.
It's not an upset. I'm not picking.
I nearly went for a draw, actually.
You went for a draw?
I nearly went for the draw, but
nearly went for a draw.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better in the next one. Burnley 19th versus Norwich 20th.
Burnley.
This is one of those Tony would be wanting us to skip over right
who
away.
gives a fuck game of a week?
Hey, you know what? Burnley might run over, steamroll them, and then it'd be like fun to watch because they're just like beating them up. So that's what you might get.
This is a real clash of styles, Gary. Burnley versus Norwich, you know.
Yeah, no. If they play the way they played against us, I don't think Norwich is going to be able to handle that.
Yeah. Rich Sports still with us? Probably not, Tony. Who have you got in this one? Burnley. Burnley might be too much for Norwich.
Yeah,
0-0 is ready.
Burnley should edge this one out.
Yeah, horrible game. Don't let this one get in the way of you making your breakfast.
Well, of course, you know. I think obviously with Burnley, if we're going to decision with VAR, and VAR's in our favour, well, I think obviously, you know, we're going to get a win here today.
Hi, Boris.
And my Boris Johnson and my Sean are very close.
Boris. That was Sean.
Yeah, the Boris Johnson. The Boris Johnson. Yeah, I think. Norwich are due something. I think. I think Norwich are due something.
That was an erg. Yeah. Norwich could do some. Stan Deitch in the house. Nice one, Redden.
I think Norwich are due something now, don't you?
Yeah, I think something's going to turn for them.
But maybe not. Maybe not at Burnley though. That's the thing, isn't it? Maybe
I think I'll go for a draw. Yeah. As Tony said, the don't give an F what happens game, right, Tony?
Yeah, but who gives a fuck game of a week?
Both at the foot of the table.
Yeah, 19th and 20th. Not much value for points there, Gary.
Nope.
Next one up, Leeds. They haven't won a game. I don't think they won a game all season.
Yeah, what's going on with them?
What
is going on with Leeds?
They forgot how to score.
I mean, they've gone from this, like, you know, team that everyone was like, oh, you're plucky little underdogs, the way they play, expansive and that, and look at them. Mm-hmm. They're banging trouble, they look like.
Yeah. 18th place. They're in the relegation zone right now. Three draws and 3 defeats. And Gary, you know, Bielsa's getting the plaudits but he just sends his team out to play. They have no caution.
He sends his team out to play, and then he goes around the back and has a cigarette. Just on his phone having a fag, like, you know.
Yeah, he gets a bucket, he turns it upside down, he sits down there, has himself a cup of coffee or hot chocolate or something, and the fag. So, but if we think Norwich is going to turn the corner, Leeds have to turn the corner at some point, and they're going to play Watford in 12th place. So, opportunity is 6 points, Gary.
Yeah. No, I mean, for which game is this?
Leeds.
Leeds 18 versus Watford 12.
I just don't see it. I don't see it. Even, I mean,
some points in there, though.
There are. I'm not going for that one. No. I mean, I'm gonna go with a draw just because
All right, I'm going to pick that Leeds game. Leeds to beat Watford. That's my upset pick.
Will we allowed to pick the same upsets or not?
Yeah.
Or one goes? Yeah. All right. I quite like the look at that one.
It was either that one or the Arsenal game. Arsenal go to Brighton and beat them, which, you know, could well be happen as well, but that's only for 4
You're still a beat behind me, Ray.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to pick this one.
That's why I went for the Leeds one.
I'm not going to pick this one.
All right. I think, Gary, you had your say on Leeds. You think Leeds will beat Watford, but you're not going for it, right?
Yeah.
Stan, you think Watford will win? It would be Leeds. Leeds would be upset.
Well, I'm just looking at points, and I think that we're going to beat Brighton. I think that we will beat Brighton, and even though it's less points, I'm more sure of that than this fixture. If that makes any sense.
Okay, so you're going to go for Arsenal to beat Brighton.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Tony?
I want to go with them, but I want to go with Leeds. But I'm kind of in agreement with Stan. You'll probably end up with a draw, so this isn't my upset.
This is not your upset. Okay.
It's tempting though, isn't it? Because there's quite a few
Yeah.
points in there. It's tempting, man.
Yeah, this week is the biggest one, right? Biggest legitimate one that could actually happen.
For Arsenal or for Leeds?
No, in general, it's the most.
In general, the other one's 13 points, but
yeah, but it's not. It's not even. No, it's not. It's not achievable. If that happens, then so be it. But
that's part of Lego binary. It's too complex for us to understand, Gary. If that one happens.
Exactly.
All right. Prediction for Arsenal and Brighton, or Brighton Arsenal. I think we win 2-1. Gary?
Same. Yeah, same.
I'm gonna actually go. No.
Yeah, you said 2-1, Stan, earlier.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say 3-1 again.
Gary, did I get it right? Twice in a row.
Arsenal's gonna win. That's my upset pick. So.
All right. Oh, you're picking Arsenal. Okay, cool. I was going to go with that, but I was more tempted by Leeds turning the corner.
You're
Tony?
just trying to gain some points.
That is tempting, though. That Leeds one.
Yeah.
I just feel like if you're going to go for it, go for broke, right? There was a bit of that.
Well, if you go for broke, you're going for Hasenhüttl up there at Stamford Bridge. That's going for broke.
I'm not copy Gary.
Wouldn't you want to see him on the sideline crying with a victory?
Gary's due from a beer to a coconut water. Gary, can you pick a healthy or unhealthy drink? Not
Bambuka's finished.
It's Thursday night. This is what I do. This is what we do.
Exactly. It's podcast. It's coconut water and podcast time Thursday nights.
Coconut water after the beer. After the beer.
You see, Gary, he's going to get upset now because we're going to skip over him. But he's had plenty of opportunity to chime in.
Yeah, he's just too busy laughing at me.
I already said it was a copy of Gary 3-1. Arsenal upset. It's my pick of the week.
I didn't hear that first time around.
I said it.
Okay. Okay. Either Leeds versus Watford or Man United versus Everton will be the game winning upset. Rafa, not a man to cause an upset, in my opinion. Prosecco next for Gary.
I don't have any of that in the house.
All right, Gary. We got 3 more fixtures. Tottenham at home to Villa.
Man, it would be really nice to see Tottenham lose again, right? It would be. I mean, they'd be home. Morning. They'd be at home. That'd be that'd be really.
Yeah,
they're
at home.
That'd be a good way to start the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aston Villa's on a 2-game winning streak, and the Spuds, where are they? 3-game losing streak.
They were top of the league. Top of the league. They were champions in August.
They might as well continue their trend. I'm going to go with the trend. The trend says Villa will win that one.
I like our trend where, we're going upwards and Tottenham are going downwards, and we're like boats passing on the ocean. The love boat versus passing the Titanic. There you go. I did it. I weaved it together.
You and your fucking tugboat and love boat.
Tugboat, love boat, Tony. Listen, we got to get the squirrels in here as well. I like the squirrel theme. We got to bring the squirrel mafia back.
Yeah, but
you know what? Let it just come naturally. We don't need to force it.
Don't force it.
Today it was.
Why do you think Stan doesn't have a video feed? The fucking black squirrels took it out.
The squirrel is actually standing there looking at Stan like, "Don't you even touch that button? Don't you touch it?" Stan's like, "Okay."
It's a black squirrel with a water gun.
Did you see that video of that squirrel? Fucking, did you see it? It's plucky, wasn't he?
It's
Proper up for it. He was up for it, man.
It's that fucker again. He's pointing.
You see him? You saw it, right? He's fucking plucky little fucker.
The plucky
come literally come running towards me. I was like, "Hello, the fuck."
He said, "I saw what you did last week." So I told to my buddies, They got you on surveillance right now. You know, you open up your window and there's this guy is a squirrel sitting there like, yeah, this is the one right here.
Let's get Sam in. I think Sam is snoozing right now. He's in the castle.
Either that or fucking battling seagulls.
He's back in the coffin.
In Norway somewhere.
He's back in his coffin. It's all time.
The sun's already come up.
He's like this. He doesn't know, but he does. He wants Granit Xhaka to come back every time he crosses his arms like this. And he goes, he's praying for Granit Xhaka to come back. Please. Tony, Tottenham versus Villa.
It's 3 points. Who gives a fuck? Aston Villa is ahead of us in the table, so I'll go for a draw.
Yeah, we want to draw. We want to probably look at some results that are going to help us. Dan, Villa.
Yeah, draw would be lovely there, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I hate both of those teams. Villa have got them up, giving me the hump after all that ESR stuff. Yeah. Now I'm kind of like fucking Villa. Do you know? Before they weren't even on my radar. I was just like, oh, Aston Villa. Now they're on my shit list. They're not getting a Christmas card.
Definitely. They were irritating. The brother of your friend, the younger brother of your friend that you didn't. Oh, why has he got to be hanging around with us again? You know what I mean? When you're a kid. Why does that kid have to be with?
When you get like the bully, but you always get like the little Weasley one that's with him, that's in the background going, yeah, go on, punch his fucking head in, and that's the one that you really want to get, but the bully's in the way. You're like, oh, that's Villa, that little shit in the background, mouthing off.
Yeah.
Just wait till I catch you on your own.
Just you wait. I used to remember that when I was a kid.
Stan, is there any way you can notify us if the squirrels got you or not?
I mean, I've got it in hand. Listen, not only squirrels. I came out my balcony the other day and there was like a raccoon on the balcony, like opposite of this building, and my cat was looking at it. I think my cat was like, hello, friend. And the raccoon was like, hello, lunch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The cat wasn't smart enough to figure it out.
It's like when the animals attack, man.
I think she thought it was a bigger cat. I thought she thought it was a big cat.
Big cat.
Seriously.
White stripes.
Well, we love your cat, Stan. Look after your cat, please.
Yeah, man.
Your cat thought it was Pepe Le Pew when he was dressed up as a cat.
We do have skunks as well. We have skunks just below, walking around in the foliage. They're everywhere around here.
Is that like back when you worked at the animal farm or whatever the fuck it was?
Seriously, right? Moving in from like Europe and that, I'm like, skunks. I remember going out for a cigarette one night when I first got here, and there's like a skunk walking up the road. I thought you only got them in like the jungle or the desert. Fucking coyotes biting people in Stanley Park. They're beating 40 people. It's crazy. It's like living in, I don't know, raccoons. It's ridiculous.
Tony, West Ham.
A dangerous place.
West Ham at home to Brentford, Tony, and that Brentford game versus Liverpool was quite entertaining.
Yeah, it's 2 fucking points. Who cares? Draw for me. Helps us.
Stan.
What is it again? Which one?
Can we put in context what happened to us? I asked this question already to Gary. Can we put in context what happened to us against Brentford with what Brentford did to Liverpool?
Who are they? What is this match?
This is West Ham at home to Brentford. 7
West Ham at home to Brentford.
7th versus 9th.
I think maybe a draw.
And West Ham are doing very well in Europe.
Maybe a 1-1 draw as well.
Right, 1-1. Score draw, the old score draw. I think that's worth 3 points or something like that in the pools, the old pools. Gary, West Ham going quite well in Europe. They're 2 for 2 in the Europa League, but their league form might suffer a little bit. They've got to get used to the same way Arsenal's getting used to having 7 days rest, and I do believe you have to get used to that as a squad. West Ham are now finding maybe the hurt a little bit in the game every 3 days.
Yep. Yep. And it's going to come. Maybe not this game, but maybe later on. But I'm going to look. I'm going with a draw. I forgot that there was a thing called draw in this thing. So, but yeah, I'm going to go with a draw. Like you said, we need to catch up to some of these teams, and if somebody wins, then we can't catch up to them. So I'm going to go for a draw. I think we're going to have all drawers ahead of us, so we'll get at least a point closer to everyone if we win. So
yeah, that's right. We're 4
that'd be
points
good.
off a lot of teams, so probably the best we can do is jump up to 7th or 8th place.
I don't think we can jump that high, dude.
If West Ham or Villa don't win.
Right now we can. If Aston Villa loses, we're going to be right 9th.
It's kind of uncharted waters for West Ham, right? Having to negotiate
9th,
European and then in the league. This is a bit different for them. So
yeah,
might be an adjusting process for them. It's going to be interesting to see how Moyes. I suppose Moyes hasn't done this since his Man U days, right?
No, he hasn't.
Two games a week. So it's going to be interesting to see if he has to rotate or what.
And they got a winner against I think Leeds in the last game. West Ham did, and right at the end of the game. So, one of those killers for Leeds. So Leeds are going to have to double their efforts. Anyone else on West Ham Brentford? I think we went through everyone, right? Rudy said, Tony, I thought that was Mahir. Who was that? The Bats as visitors.
Yeah.
So, Tony, Crystal Palace 15th versus Leicester. Leicester are struggling in 13th place.
And I'm going to go with Patrick Vieira's much at Selhurst Park.
That's not something we want them to do because we're going to be playing them next week after.
It's in 2 weeks, right?
We got 2 weeks, the international break. Yes, Dan. Last round of the fixtures before the international break. It's Palace at home to Leicester.
I don't think Leicester is as bad as everyone is making out. There's something there, I think. But I'm really really want Crystal Palace to do well. They're a local team to where I used to live. Patrick Vieira's the manager. Another tie. I wanted Edwards to do well.
You were supposed to be a Crystal Palace supporter, you know that, right? Until you saw Liam Brady.
Well, by rights, I'm supposed to be. Well, either Newcastle through family or location, Millwall. Can you imagine if I was part of a Millwall podcast? I wonder what that would be like. Fucking Millwall podcast. Fucking hell.
Fucking throwing beer.
Right, you fucking bastard. Right, fucking hell. There you cool, blimey. Fucking hell, what would that be like? I'm going to look up Millwall podcast. I can listen in and see what goes on. I'm interested now, but
I want to see that.
What is it like? They must have a podcast somewhere. I must listen in and see what they like. But
we'll search for that after.
Brownie can find one for us.
Yeah, Brownie. But I think
Brownie.
Again, I'm feeling a draw. A lot of draws, isn't there? Which I was doing the polls.
Rudy and Stephen has got the Foxes winning. So yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe like a 2-1 to Leicester.
I think Leicester will come through in this game, yeah.
I'm going to go for Leicester win as well. Really convinced me.
I do want to see Patrick Vieira do well. Gary,
I do.
Did we get to you on this one, Gary?
No, I was just thinking, I don't know, I was thinking Crystal Palace. Well, you know what, when we were talking Newcastle, I was thinking Crystal Palace. So I think they have a letdown. I think Leicester will win that one. I think the Crystal Palace, the previous one against Brighton, is going to come back. It's going to be on their minds. So
Stan, just so you know, Millwall are in the division below us, and they're 14th place right now. So
okay,
I don't think we're going to get relegated. I don't think they're going to get promoted. Okay, so
I care. Sorry.
big game. Yeah, the big game of the weekend is first versus second, Liverpool versus City. I remember this one last season. Alisson had a nightmare game last season. I think City won this one 3-0 maybe. And Alisson had two mistakes right after each other. I just remember this game now. Allison had the kind of things that never happens to goalkeepers. Well, two of them happened in the space of minutes in this game.
I don't remember. I don't recall that. But toughie.
You're gonna win. You're gonna win
think
thousands if you get this one correct on your pools. You're gonna win thousands, so no pressure.
And this is at Liverpool.
Yes, it's at Anfield. Yeah.
Toughie, man, because I think if I was to say now who I think is going to win the league, I think it's more between Palace and Chelsea. Chelsea and Man City than it is Man City Liverpool. I think.
Yeah.
So, but Liverpool at home. I'm going to go for Man City win.
Fair enough. Give us a scoreline. So Steve was
pinning me now.
Yeah, this is Stephen. This is Stephen here, right, guys? What will the Liverpool City score be? I remember a 2-2 from way back. Ready, it was Tevez scoring. Liverpool City. 2-2.
Sometimes you think these teams, because of the players that they've got, it's going to be like a 3-2 or something like that, and then you watch it and it's just like a 0-0. Do you know what I mean? They just share a point each. They're so hard to call. You can really overpower these games.
You could set your whole weekend thinking this is the perfect game. You get everything in, and then it's grab.
Phone's off the hook. You got your beers in the fridge, your crisps. You've told the missus don't interrupt, and then it's like a 0-0, and you're like, oh, okay.
She walks in and you're like passed out sleeping. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, you're asleep on the sofa, farting.
Dan asked for a kebab anyway.
Stan finally got off the pot. Okay, 0-0. Is that what you're going with?
Yeah, I'm going to go for 0-0.
All right.
More I think about it. I'm with Steve Denham on that.
I'll go for
Steve went 1-0, so you're not with Steve.
And again, I just want to while we're talking about that, I know I may have mentioned it before, but I don't think I've ever asked Gary what I've got this thing, Gary, about I don't think that you should get any points for if it's a 0-0 draw. So obviously, if you win, you get your 3 points. If it's a 1-1 or a 2-2, you get your 1 point. But I don't think that you should get any points for
0.
Yeah, you don't get anything for a 0-0 draw, and I just think it would encourage you to sort of like maybe do something if you need points. What's your thoughts on that quickly? I know I've asked Ray before.
I do like that, but I like that, but I don't see any. I don't see. Yeah, I do like that,
but you don't see it happening.
I don't like to see situations where teams are like, oh, okay, we'll just play out for that 0-0 draw then, and you know what I mean. If you had something at stake, it might make somebody do something. I don't know. I've always felt that, but
I like that one. I mean, in this one, it's who are we gonna see? Is Liverpool's defense gonna wake up, and get really be good? We know that both sides. I mean, it could be. I'm actually going with Liverpool running away with it. So I think Liverpool run away with it.
You got Liverpool winning this one?
Yeah.
Running away with it, but he won't give us a score.
Yeah, I'm not giving you a score. They're just going to run away with it.
Who does everyone just as well? Who does everyone think is actually going to win the league? Just who's going to win? Not the top four is. Who do you reckon?
We all did the predictions podcast. I said Manchester United based on Ronaldo coming in.
Okay. What about you two?
I picked City for real this time.
Okay, I remember this controversy. Gary,
I don't remember what I said. Do you have that recorded somewhere?
I have it somewhere.
You know what?
Sounds like Gary's fishing for deniable plausibility.
No.
Is it on record? No. Okay, good.
No, I think I do have it
somewhere. Have you seen Ray's Menudo notebook yet?
No, I think I do have it.
No.
Show your Menudo.
Chelsea. You went for Chelsea, Gary.
I think I thought it was Chelsea. Yeah.
Show your notebook, Ray. Show your notebook.
See, I know. He's not going to show it.
Stan
Tony,
hasn't seen your Menudo.
Tony, leave him alone. Be nice.
Stan wants to see your
Tony.
Menudo notebook.
Let's move on. Next up.
Yeah, you have to go 15 games unbeaten. Remember, Tony?
Interesting.
God, you're killing me.
No,
Listen.
yeah. So Chelsea. You know, I thought it was Chelsea, but I couldn't
You
remember.
said Chelsea, yeah. Tony, I'm going to kill you. Last season, Manchester City beat Liverpool 4-0. Check that out. Watch it back. You'll see Alisson have an absolute nightmare for two of the goals, and they were in quick succession. Well, 35 and 45 minutes. Yeah. So listen, that's the upsets we've.
You didn't come to me, asshole.
Why would he? You're not really being nice.
Just because I
There's a
mentioned
reason why I subconsciously forget about you.
He makes it easy, doesn't it, Ray? He makes it easy, doesn't he, Ray?
Makes it so easy to skip
Stan,
over.
Ray has 2 Menudo notebooks. His wife has 2 of them.
All the coup points are out the window, man.
I have the power to mute you, Tony. And I will. But I won't. Listen, that's the upsets
Hey,
challenge.
you still didn't let me have my say, asshole.
All right, I'm going to mute myself. Go ahead. I told you I'd mute myself. Go ahead.
Pep should have his bunch up for it, but I don't think they will. I think I'd like to see a tie. Tie would be best for us, but I think Liverpool gets 1-0 win at home.
Gary versus Tony, the Route 66 Derby. Is there a Route 66 between you guys?
I'm real close to it. I don't think Gary is.
No, I am not close to anything called no.
So listen, I thought we'd finish out the podcast by talking a little bit about Bernd Leno and the comments that he had made in the.
I'm glad you brought this up because I'm aware that he said something, but I've not had the time to listen or read anything. So I'm glad they're going to bring it up because I'd like to know what that's all about.
I'll let Gary jump into it.
I think essentially, I believe they were just talking to him about. I guess one thing that he said, I can't remember what the questions were, but one thing that he said is that he doesn't understand why he's not playing. It has nothing to do with his performances. So that's one thing. And the other thing that he said, essentially, basically, he was like, you know what? I forgot what team and what part of the country or part of Europe he was talking about.
Milan,
I think.
Milan. Yeah, he said it's pretty. It's close to where he's from. So,
Roman,
so if he's yeah, so he doesn't know why he doesn't understand why. I mean, he should know why he's sitting. I mean, it's pretty clear as day that a team that brings in a player that's worth as much as you were when you came in, that they might be looking to let you go. And also, he doesn't want to sign his contract, right? So what is
his contract's up in 2023, right?
He doesn't want to renew.
So they have to make a move by the summer, then, really, don't they? If they're going to do something to recoup something.
Yeah.
So
he's not entertaining offers, I believe, in terms of,
do we know that? Do we know that for sure that we've made offers and he's just said no? Do we know that?
Do I know?
I'm pretty sure of it.
I don't know. I don't know that.
He has mentioned even before this, before we bought Ramsdale, he had mentioned, "Hey, I'm open to anything. You never know what can happen in football. Anything can happen, right, Tony?" And this most recent, as Gary said, doesn't know why he's been dropped, but he respects the coach's.
What are you laughing about, Stan?
I was just thinking that's like the sort of thing you say when you go to a swingers party. Yeah, I'm open to anything. Do you know what I mean?
But nobody's giving you the keys, right? Which,
he goes on to say, Stan, I quite like Milan, so you could take that analogy and move it on. I quite like Milan and I quite like Stuttgart. They're quite nice for people.
Okay,
he's doing no different than what.
Just move him on then. We got
did the same thing, and you know what? He got an extension.
January.
So he's probably going to get an extension and sitting on the bench behind Ramsdale.
Hey, Who are we to get as our number 2?
It's a shame that we don't have somebody again within us, like from the academy or someone that's good enough to be the number 2 who can deputise someone that we can promote from within, because it doesn't seem that the club feels that it's the, what's his name, Okanoa?
Yep.
Can't remember if I've pronounced it right. It doesn't seem like they think. It seems like they don't think it's him. So, and I don't think it's obviously Carl Hein.
No.
So,
I already said unless we sign an
Onana
or Woodman or an Onana, and it's a particular type of goalkeeper we're going to be looking for as well, because Bernd Leno maybe.
Wouldn't Onana come in and sit? Do you know what I mean? And someone like an Onana, surely he's going to be coming in wanting to be the main guy. I don't know.
I think one of our Italian teams is already kind of sweet.
Is there any? Okay, is there really a reason for us to move off of Ramsdale already?
No.
Well, if he's going to continue displaying what he's been doing, personally, I think that if we're going to get a number 2 and Leno's gone, we should be looking for a player who's kind of in that maybe 30 years old, 31, 32, who's, he's been around, a bit of a journeyman. He understands he's not the number 1, but also he's got something to offer, but also someone that can be talking to Ramsdale, that's been around a few different clubs and can help him just, rather than bringing in someone who's like 19.
Right,
do you know what I mean?
It's not only that, but it's also talking to, Alconco and Ein, if that's where you're going to go in the future anyways, right? Because to some degree, you're going to get that help that the players need there, right? So that might be the other part to it as well. So not only do you kind of support the number 1.
I think I saw pictures of David Seaman in training with the goalkeepers. Fucking get him in as a fucking backup.
He was invited. It was a very, very entertaining.
Wilshere and fucking David Seaman getting on pay-as-you-play contracts. Could you imagine that?
I was all seeing that interview. A very, very entertaining interview between Ramsdale and Seaman, where he was asked, "Have you watched David Seaman as you were growing up?" He's like, "Well, I'm not that old."
No.
David Seaman's right there beside him, Gary. But David took it in good grace. Stephen said Leno will leave. Tony, you know the answer to this one? Leno
Did
will
he
leave.
still have his mustache?
No, it's gone. It's gone. Will we get any money for Leno if he leaves, or will it be on a free, Tony?
I think it's end up being on a free, because I think it's up. I thought it was next summer. I didn't think it was 2023.
I thought he was on the contract. We will get money for him for sure, Reddy says.
I don't think we will.
If he's under contract to 2023, then surely the ball's in Arsenal's court right now. Yeah. They hold all of the cards here. If they're thinking to themselves, well, we've got to do something, they should be thinking about January, really. And try and get as much as they can and just get that out of the way. That's something they can cross off the list, think about something else, rather than just have it hanging in there.
Steven said Seaman and Ramsdale had good banter with each other. I think, if David Seaman is going to come in and be a coach or a consult or help out, I think it can only be good things. And it looked like there was good bands there at Colney as well. But we should see what happens. It looks like Bernd Leno is banging that drum pretty loud, Gary, that, he's available, he's out there. And as we said, I think we need to be targeting a profile of goalkeeper that Stan said, maybe a journeyman, maybe someone who's been around, can help Ramsdale, because Ramsdale has been really, really good.
It's 2023.
Yeah, he's got 2 years left, yeah.
He's been really good for the team, but he's going to come across a bad game here and there. His form's going to dip, and I think the fans have to be there and understand that he's a young goalkeeper. It's going to happen.
Definitely. But you know what? The one thing I can't say is that he has had experience, probably negative experience in terms of what being in worse situations than he's going to be at Arsenal. He's got a better defense in front of him. I would like to say he has a better manager than he's had, but I don't know if Arteta has anybody on the staff has that knowledge to be able to get Ramsdale through the bad days.
Yeah.
It's
Really said here, love David Seaman, although he got to see his last few years at the club before he joined City. Before we signed Ramsdale, Seaman was saying he rated him and said he thinks Ramsdale reminds him a bit of himself. And also, if you're Ramsdale in goals and you're looking at Tomiyasu, this is a player who is dedicated to the art of defending. I believe Tomiyasu is the real deal, and we're going to be able to stop certain players such as Son who lines up against them or limit the damage they're going to do to us moving forward this season. You know,
I mean, who does Brighton have that's going to threaten us, right?
Yeah.
On our defensive side, which if that's the case, that means we should have more control of this game than
Yep.
And if that's the case, we should look a lot better on the attack because they're not going to threaten us as much, right? I mean, who is there? Who are we concerned with?
Danny Welbeck.
Who's that? Who's that Irish lad, Ray, that
Danny.
plays in the midfield?
Connolly.
Yeah, he's quite quite useful.
He reminds me of young Wayne Rooney. You know, he's a tenacious player. Yeah, I mean Mope's been given it large.
Yes.
We need to give it back to him.
He has been.
You know. But listen, we'll see what happens. All right. On a side note, you can't talk about Mope without talking about Guendouzi. I was watching a little bit of that Marseille game, and Guendouzi's in the thick of things again. And,
Is that the one with this thing where it started with William Saliba?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a penalty incident where he tried to buy a penalty.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
You're the Saliba one.
You're either pro Guendouzi or not.
We already know you're not, Ray.
I did note though, because a lot of people have been raving about how. I don't watch French football, but I see people raving about how Saliba's tearing it up over there in France. And then I was on the timeline the other day, and I was reading an article how he was in their worst team of the week for the French league, as was I don't know if Guendouzi was as well, but definitely Saliba.
It might have come up against one of the bigger teams.
Can't remember who it was against, but it caught my eye, and I was just like, "Oh, okay."
I've only heard good things about Saliba over there, and he's doing well.
I mean, if you look at that play, there it looked like Saliba was basically, the stronger of the two players, and the other players didn't like it, right? So he went after him. So it's like, and that's what you want from your center back, right? I mean,
nice to see he's got a bit about him. Yeah.
If he's playing for Arsenal, you're loving him doing that to. I don't know who would be the equivalent. I'd love to see that with Lukaku. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, because if you think about that, we look at White. We're not expecting White to be able to do that. He's not going to be able to stand up tall again.
No, he leaves that to Gabriel, doesn't he? He's like standing behind. Maybe he's the guy standing behind Gabriel, going, "Go on, get him! Go on, fucking get him!" It's that guy again.
Yeah, he's going like that. Good. And the other guys are holding him back. I love it.
White, don't hurt him. Don't hurt him, White.
Put Marseille on the world news.
Leave it, Ben. Leave it, Ben. It's not worth it.
Final thoughts. We'll get out of here. Listen, I want to thank Stan, Gary, and Tony for being here. Having a good one tonight. We'll be back at the weekend. Tony, your final thoughts.
It should be 3 points for us this weekend. Should be moving up the table. Hopefully Arteta doesn't change things. Things are working like they are.
Work in a boat reference. Work in an analogy. Come on.
You and your tugboat. Are you tugging your horn? You're tugging your horn, Ray.
Good stuff. Stan, final thoughts, Stan.
I'm really looking forward to the next game. I've been enjoying.
Tell us your real thoughts, Stan. Stop.
I've been enjoying watching Arsenal again. I have, I've been enjoying it again.
Have you really, or is it?
I'm enjoying it again. I'm looking forward to games now, and I'm looking forward to seeing, the progress continuing. So I can't wait to see what happens against Brighton. The lineup, I can't wait to see when the lineup comes out and to see what we do. And I just hope that it's not going to be. I'm not going to be coming away feeling deflated and feeling like we've taken a step back. You know, I hope that we're back here next Thursday, talking about another excellent display.
Talking about a win.
Coming up with his excuses.
I'm not making excuses. I'm setting this table. I'm setting the stage. A cold night in Brighton. These are the obstacles.
You know, not. You know, I don't want to. I just finish on a nautical. I don't want to see us swimming against the tide. You know, with our legs caught in the seaweed. You know, we scratch ourselves on maybe. Yeah, I was on a roll there, but I gave up. I was going to try and do a big nautical finish to try and top Ray, but
you got the pirate on the side.
Well, Gary's going to have the last say on that one, the last go.
Make it nautical, Gary.
Make it nautical, Gary. Go.
Talk about pirates.
I just.
The wave of success.
You know
the wave of success.
There's a commercial over here.
Put a mermaid in there.
It's I think it's for Geico
Is it
commercial.
a one-legged or two-legged affair, Gary?
Listen, let me say what I got to say. Stop talking.
Well,
there's commercial over here for a Geico, insurance company, and it's got a Geico, a gecko actually. The gecko, and they're sitting on a boat, and the kid's got a remote control trying to get him into the dock, and he's just spinning around in circles. And he's like, "I'm getting sick." I think that's where we are right now at Arteta.
I like it.
So I think that's where we are right now. Is he going to steer us out into the blue, out into the ocean, or bring us back home? We'll see. I think all of us want to get back home, right? We want to get back to where we used to be. So we'll see what Arteta does. I mean, he's gotten a plan. He's gotten a map how to get what it looks like, right? This is what it looks like. He's seen it. Like you said, Stan, he saw it in the West Brom game. He saw it in the North London Derby. Maybe the quality of their opponent isn't what it should be, but it doesn't matter. It's actually, this is what it should look like, right? This is what he wants out of his team. We should see something similar to this. Is Brighton doesn't have as big of a threat as the Spurs. I mean, Mupai does make he is an issue. All right. Right, he said final word. What is up with you? Stay off. No.
That's Tony. I'm just.
I know. Yeah. You're not helping either. No, but like I said, I think Arteta has a plan. We've seen it. He's seen it twice now. He needs to just repeat it. Do it again. I want to see him do it again. So let's see where we go. It wasn't really a good boating thing, but I like the Titanic thing, bringing it back up. But right now you got to bring it up, and it's got all that barnacles on it, really heavy. You got to start chiseling those off, right? Or it's not gonna go much.
Get rid of the old barnacles, which is Granit Xhaka, maybe Aubameyang in a season or two.
Yeah, I think next week we should go back to aviation. I think that's where we do better with the aviation plans. This nautical thing is just. I feel like I'm drowning here.
Yeah, I'll do that. We were not.
No one needs to find me a lifeboat.
We were not drowning today. We were soaring above the skies. So yeah, good one today.
Yeah.
Anything else, Gary?
Yeah.
Say your final words or keep your peace for a couple of days.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's all I got. No, I would expect to have us have a win. Yeah, and yeah, let's do that.
Tony, you mad? Gary,
just changing the subject.
If
you've got Netflix, start watching that fucking Squid Game. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
If you've got Netflix, look. Yeah, it's like a 6 or 8 part episode thing.
9.
Way of watching it. It's really worth watching.
9. I got to the end of episode 7. I wanted to know how many more episodes are.
It's got a kind of like a Hunger Games feel to it, mixed with The Prisoner. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Give it a look.
It's fun.
Squid Game.
But it is slightly X-rated, so a little bit. So.
Slightly
it's not one to watch with your kids. So don't get the kids in front of the sofa with it.
X-rated, or is it a little violent?
Blood. More blood.
So it's not X-rated then?
No.
A little bit. R-rated.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You said X-rated, so I was like, I didn't
Yeah,
think that's
there's
what
no
it was.
porn.
No. All right. We're going to get out of here. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Stan coming all the way from his Xbox. Right?
With a squirrel to his.
If you came here late and you want to know what happened, rewind.
If
All the way
you
back.
hear anything about a guy who got attacked by squirrels, and all they saw was the
World
Xbox
Mafia.
Is it a black or
controller
gray
was
squirrel,
left at the
Stan?
scene, and they've got
black or gray
claw
one?
marks. You know
Black.
who it is.
Catch us for the pregame about an hour and 15 minutes before kickoff on Saturday. We'll see you then. It's only 48 hours, maybe less, away.
Just to Steve Denon. Steve Denon, it's Korean, but it's dubbed into English.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix, so if you have that, check it out.
Very good.
Good stuff. All right. We'll see you, 36 hours from now?
Yeah.
All right. Well, take care. Thanks,
you
Stan.
Guinness.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Tony. Let's get that win, Arsenal. Come on.
Yep. Let's do it.
Keep the run moving. Take care.